It's happening.
We're going, and there's a lot of bodies here.
Yeah.
But,
there's a lot today.
There is, but we're all here because this is episode 14 of CornStars, which is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com, right above Chris's dome there.
Yeah, which way to go?
As he's like rocking back and forth underneath it. Check them out, Facebook, Instagram. Go on the website, shop around. Use code THN at checkout. Get a little bit shaved off your total. Save yourself a couple bucks. And then once you're done with that, you go over to SilentHillReptiles.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Stay in the loop with what JT and Mindy are doing. They're I don't know exactly what their plan is this season. I know they put some stuff together. But, bangers on the way. So.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Yep. Like I said, a lot of bodies here, as usual. Joined by Chris Painchab, Badlands Herpetoculture.
Yo.
Alex Horvath of Keystone Corns, Mr. Mike
Hello.
Kosicki of MK Colubrids, and Chris Gonzalez of Black Snow Reptiles.
And on Morph Market, Coastal Colubrids.
That's right.
Coastal Clubs, okay.
Only on Morph so far.
Also bangers.
It's got an absolute full house, little round table right here. It's gonna be awesome.
If you guys kind of see me looking around and doing things, because I am in the snake room and there's stuff kind of all over, moving around. So I got stuff I was going to feed tonight too.
They're all looking at you, angry and upset, ready to eat.
They're all kind of like, okay, we're ready. Yeah.
That's literally how all of mine are. There's so many eyes on me right now.
Mine better be looking at each other right now. I hope we get some scenes in the background.
Any action going on yet, Chris?
Yeah, quite a few locks out of the corns. Big Chungus, her and my Silent Hill Caramel Miami have locked up 4 or 5 times now. I keep throwing him in there. He loves it. He just goes to town, likes him a big girl, and so she's looking good. A few locks out of my Ultramel Motley Tessera to Amel Motley Unknown Hets. Now the hets on the male were het anary. So I've had a couple locks from them. I had the reverse Okati going to. I had that really beautiful fluorescent reverse Okati that was going to go to my Caramel Miami male.
Mm-hmm.
But because the big girl came over here, I'm putting him to my Honey, son of or daughter of Hannibal, and I've seen some good action out of them as well. And then to this girl, so now my Ultramel Motley Tessera boy is going to the fluorescent reverse Okati. So, and I've seen some good action out of them. So I'm excited about that. So maybe I can get some nice Okiti influence on some Ultramels, which would be delightful. And he's also the one that sometimes throws those kind of buff-looking animals. And he's an SMR animal, so there could be the chance of there being buff in there. As far as charcoals, Mr. Gray is going after the pewter girl and his blood red girl that he's paired up with the last few years. They kind of doing the same thing they always do. He's a little bit of a shy snake. And then my kind of yellow-headed anary boy, who actually came out to join me today. He's hanging out. He's going back to that snow girl that I have that kind of shares that same yellow.
Yeah.
That yellow head. It doesn't look like an anary.
Yeah, that's just
No, it doesn't.
wild.
It's so weird.
Nice.
So weird. But yeah, he's been hanging out with that snow girl. She's actually in shed, so I pulled him apart. He just gave me a nice, perfect shed. So we'll see what they do. And I think I'll have good luck. A few of the Pitchophis, Janai, a few confirmed locks. Chinese beauties are looking good. The female's getting real thick. I didn't see any locks with them last year, so I'm kind of just letting them do their thing. And then all the cold stuff is out. It gets its third meal tomorrow. I actually have a note on my thing back here. It says final feeding before pairing is tomorrow. So I'll feed everybody one more small meal. That'll be 3 meals every 3 or 4 days or so. And I'll start pairing Thayrai or Leonis and Alterna and Baja Kings and stuff like that. And I've already got my vertebralis, my Pitchophis vertebralis together. So we're hoping good things come out of that.
Definitely.
What about you, man?
So I put the blood red pied with that ghost tester girl, and they've been cuddled up pretty much 24/7 ever since. Haven't seen any definitive locks.
Nice.
Put the Castagna Motley male in with the original Ladies Island female. She's on the tail end of a shed cycle, so I'm hoping once she sheds that maybe that'll kick things off. And that's it right now. So I'm thinking, as far as the Bairds go, I'm leaning towards the putting the hypo in with the Loma Alta female.
Yes, yeah.
I'm thinking that's the route I'm going to go. And then I have that Het Sunkissed male that I got from Crystal Colubrids, and I thought about putting him with that other Beaufort County.
Is that the one with those really thick borders?
Yeah.
That thing's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's a nut job. But if that other animal ends up being female, which I need to just send a shed or something and get it tested just to save myself the confusion. Then I think that'll be a nice pairing as well. I think those will go well together. So maybe that. It just depends. It's completely dependent on that snake being a female. So
yeah, I did decide my Ultramel Motley Tester of Boy Het Anary to go back to the mother of this guy because you have some babies from that pair.
Yeah, dude, that Ultramel stripe shed.
Yeah.
And like that yellow is creeping in hard on the neck, and then that snow that I got from you, his yellow starting to kick off, like starting to get out of hand.
Is any of that 2022 stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 2022 stuff, I didn't do that pair. I did this guy back to his mom. So I have 3 of the snow tremels that you sent me.
Mm-hmm. I have the stripe, and then I have just sort of the snow tremel that's het for some stuff. So that stripe was a female. One of the other snow tremels was a male. So that pair I'm keeping because I'm that stripe I want to do stuff with down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep them together. And then there's another one that I think is a female, and that one's been on Morph Market, but that's one of those ones where if like it doesn't sell, like I have no issues with it.
Yeah. So he probably fathered that. He did 2 clutches last year. Last year he went to a Red Factor Ghost female het stripe, and she's het Sunkissed, so I wanted to prove out the Sunkissed. And then he went back to his mom, who's also het hypo Sunkissed. She's Anary het stripe. So that's why there was a lot of striped Ultramel, because he's het Ultra. So both of them were het Amel. So I got a bunch of Ultramels, which was fun. So yeah, switching up the pairings a little bit this year, but going back to the clutch to reproduce the same clutch that made this guy to hopefully make another one or something similar. I'd love to get a snow. If I could get a snow stripe from that clutch, that'd be great to hold back.
Alex, what's new up your way?
Nothing too new. I got my 2 pairings down.
What's new down there in PA?
Yeah, down here in PA, for all of you north of me. I got my 2 pairings down to my friend Alan over at Rock Creek Corns. We got his Coral Snow Motley male paired up to my Snow female and my Ultramel Blood Red female. So I think we have confirmed blocks with the Ultramel, suspected blocks with the Snow. So hopefully looking at some nice, because she's had Anary, looking for some good Red Factor Ultramel Anaries het for Blood Red.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, we'll make some Coral Snows, het Motley, het Diffused.
Yeah. Also very good.
So, and then last year, the pairing I did with her was to a reverse oak, and we threw some Ultramels and stuff like that. We threw Amels. Hoping that the reason they're very red is because she's red factor, but that might also be because it was fluorescent reverse oak. So if she is red factor, maybe we'll see some salmons.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
I love
That'd be real fun.
I love Red Factor.
yeah. Me too.
All the variations of it.
And it does, it does really neat stuff with certain combos.
It needs to all get put to Castagna. All of it.
Oh my gosh.
That would be an awesome Castagna. Do a hypo Red Factor Castagna.
Yeah.
Do like a ghost Castagna with the red factor thrown in there, like that red factor. Is it the Annery you got at Daytona? Like,
so see if the red factor stays in that upper third of the snake and leaves, the last 2/3.
See what it does to it.
What do you think it would do to mandarins?
That would be
I think because I don't think you get you'll get the red. I don't think there'll be any red in a mandarin that's got red factor. I think you'll get increased saturation on the orange.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, but then so what I keep trying to think of is what would buff do to that and what would red factor do to that? Because would I get a deeper orange with red factor?
Yeah.
And would I just get like a almost het caramel looking, like with the buff, would the orange just kind of be brighter, not deeper? It's just you know.
Well, I think it'd be interesting because Castagna is already kind of like a washed out sort of look to it. I feel like buff would only extrapolate that.
And then throw Sunkist on top.
I think Lee Abbott had buff mandarins at his table.
Yeah, he had so much stuff I don't even remember.
And he's got like a lot of really cool combinations. He's got stuff that you didn't really think would work, and it works.
Well, when my friend produced out his mandarins, he sent me the picture of them day one, straight out the egg, and I was like, "Those look like snows." And then he's like, "Wait for the first shed." So my question is like, if let's say I could put buff or red factor into that project, how long would I have to hold them back before I'm like, this one's buff or red factor, this one's not? Like, would I ever even know? Then what would Motley do on top of that?
Welcome to keeping chondros. Good luck picking holdbacks.
Well, that's like this guy. This little yellow-headed gem was a perfect Annery stripe with stripes still for like 2 years before he started getting that, maybe a year and a half before he got any yellow. So I don't know. I literally have no idea how any of this works. I make it all up, right?
I think
he just throws darts to the board, and that's just what he lands on is what he picks. That's what goes together.
Pretty sure everybody's just making it up as they go.
I think putting buff and red factor knowingly, and I say knowingly because there's sometimes like a situation like this where we're not entirely sure what's going on, but we think maybe something like that is buff.
Mm-hmm.
This has the representation of buff, but maybe it's just a really nice Annery stripe.
Could be.
So I'm not knowingly putting anything into anything, right? I'm trying to find out what's going on by pairing similar animals, and I may just be looking at a selectively bred trait that is a happenstance in this case, and then I'm curating it through pairing. So knowingly taking something that's red factor, knowingly taking something that's buff, and taking it from a simple genetic animal, possibly getting an animal that is only buff, or maybe like an AML buff, or something like that. I think Mike actually donated an AML buff from Joe Phelan that produced it. That animal is like a very good animal for test breedings, right? Like, let's take this AML buff and put it into a few things and skip. We're gonna have to wait a generation. Let's see what we start getting.
And see that snake looked like a normal light-colored AML, when it was born. I had no idea what it was really going to look at because it came from that killer Miami Okatee female that we had with a regular. It might have been a buff male, so I didn't know what was going to come of it. It wasn't, and that's the thing with a lot of these clutches. You got to wait the first year or so to really see what they're going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough to feed a lot of little mouths.
It is. Well, and
it is.
If I remember correctly, Chris, with that snake that you're holding right there,
yes, sir.
Its sister or the parents were both also very high yellow.
The mom has almost no yellow.
Okay.
She is like devoid of yellow. And then the dad He's a ultra male. He's not. I'm going to say this many times. Ultra male motley test for a het area, but it's a striped motley, right? So like it's motley.
Okay.
It's dominant motley, but het stripe.
Yes.
And he is very yellow, and he came from SMR like 10 years ago. He's old. He's huge too. He's like 4.5 foot long, maybe 4 foot, but I've bred him to many other things and not gotten what came out in this clutch or from this pairing, and then taking this guy back to his mom, have gotten some kind of interesting looking animals I've held some back, and Justin's got some, and my friend John actually has a couple. So it's I don't know, interested to see, but I there's a chance he may be buff, but I've got plenty of animals that he produced that I've held back that don't show any signs of that high yellow, but from other females. So it's a funky one. It's just this pairing, and they're completely unrelated. The mother was produced by Russell Southard, and we know her hets. She's het Sunkiss, het hypo, and then this definitely isn't Sunkiss. Similar effects to some extent, but it doesn't have the breaking that would happen with stripe and Sunkissed. It doesn't have any of the patterning that would happen with Sunkissed. And then the male, and that's where we chalk it up to. Maybe this is just really, really a neat happenstance, and we want to kind of chase down that selectively bred.
I was going to say, that's something you need to line breed for.
Yeah. Sadly, his sister, who he's pairing to now, she's in shed right now, but she's she's Snow, but she's got that same yellow.
It's the sister. Yeah. That's it. You said this. Him and the sister are very high yellow.
Extremely high yellow, yeah.
Interesting.
So, and that's the only pairing he's doing this year. So he'll go to his sister, and we'll see what that does. And then I'm repeating the pairing that produced him, because I wouldn't hate having a backup him. Or making a female one of these. That'd be kind of fun. So.
Now, at what point are you going to try to bring in some new blood to that, and maybe add in another gene to mix, or bring in something that you could produce out the possible Sunkiss? Because I know you love Sunkiss stuff.
Yeah, I love Sunkiss. So I'm going to shake everything up probably next year, because I'll have more males ready. My thing is, I'm doing a lot of like male to 2 females or male to 3 females, and I really want to get it down to where I'm doing male to female, right? Either a pair or maybe a trio. That way each clutch is more specific. But this will probably, him going to his sister, whatever is produced there, will have to be looked at separately. Probably not going to go too much further into the inbreeding on that, just because the guarantee of deleterious genes, right? Like at some point you keep inbreeding. We're gonna find something that's not good, or get bad fertility, or I know people say 9 generations, but let's maybe not go 3 or 4 generations in our own collection without starting to outcross it. So we'll see. That's another. I took that Ultramel boy, that same boy that we're talking about, into that fluorescent reverse Okatee, and I kind of did it on a whim, mostly because he's a championship breeder. But at the same time, I was like, man, if I can get any of this going on in Ultramel, in a stock standard Ultramel with Okatee influence, yeah, I'm about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that would be exciting.
See, and wouldn't there be something to be said for outcrossing like that? Like that's where some of that maybe localities or wild type stuff is really important, because if you're not trying to add stuff into that mix and you want to keep it sort of focused on what it is, then having something that doesn't have any of that weirdness in the background that maybe you don't know about.
That's exactly it. And then see, my next inline problem is I want to be able to simplify this down to not whatever's going on with the yellow stripe, Anary, het ultra, pos het, or also het hypo. I'm sorry, he's also het hypo, because I produce ghosts as well with him. And then het pos het Sunkissed. You know what I mean? There's so many compounds.
There's too much going on in there.
Putting him to a wild caught animal. Now I've got a normal looking snake that is het for 4 things, pos het for 2, or something like that, het 3 things, and it's like, man, well,
why do that to yourself?
Yeah. So I could simplify it. Simplifying it down will be the best. the best plan. And it's also, this is like I hate saying it, but this is also like a pet project. This is like a project within my projects, right? Like I'm just excited to produce cool looking snakes. But now if I kind of narrow down what's going on in this situation, and maybe him and his sister just produce animals that look like this, and I'm just stoked about it forever, right? Mm-hmm. She's guaranteed either het motley or het stripes, so I'll get motleys or stripes. I have removed the tessera, which is another reason I paired him to his mom to prove out that he wasn't tessera, because a striped tessera can kind of look like this. So I pulled out tessera, which was part of the calculation there. Now I held back a female that is similar, that is tessera, but didn't end up getting that yellowing. She ended up, she's that kind of more monochromatic looking tessera anary female that I've shown y'all. But so that way I can put tessera back in if I want to, but it didn't get the yellow as it aged. So anyways, yeah, so I pulled that out. So I know I'll get snow tremels, right? Because I'm not going to get any regular snows. I'm going to get snow tremels. I'm going to get anaries. I should get either motleys or stripes. We have to find out what she is. And then we're going to find out if she held on to hypo or sun-kissed from the mom. And hopefully find out if there was anything else, because he has already paired back to his mom. Well, I guess if she had sun-kissed, we wouldn't know. But because he definitely wasn't het sun-kissed, because pairing to his mom, he didn't produce any sun-kissed. So, yeah, super, super exciting, complex genetics.
It's too much.
Mm-mm. It's like just enough, but I feel like if there was one more thing going on, I'd be like, I'm done here.
6 is enough.
Six things is cool, but
6 is plenty.
See, I used to make. I used to make fun of the ball python people. Like once you got past 4 different genes, I just say I give up. It's a pretty snake, and now the corn snakes have become that.
Yeah,
you guys are blowing my mind with the stuff you're making, creating.
I am team simple.
Yeah, and see keep going back to this guy, because I really do like this guy. This is an anery stripe, right? This is not, the only thing we're seeing here is anery and stripe. I want to get sun-kissed into this, but I want to be able to make these. But the problem is I want them all to look like this. And so that's going to be the refining of the project, is so I can show people pictures of this guy and say, this is this guy to a female that potentially looks like him or is similar to him. And this is what their babies look like. They look kind of like just a regular anery stripe, but this is what you're going to get. But like you said, Mike, it starts compounding on itself, and it's like, well, I want to get that out. I want to figure out how to remove that. So now, pairing back to his sister, I should be able to lock in everything that I know is going on, and from the babies that I produce, be able to completely be sure. But it takes generations, right? Like, I have the snakes that I bought from other people, I can't guarantee their genetics until I've started outcrossing them or pairing them to other things. That's what we've just got to do.
Yeah. That one of the craziest things is that corn snake that Eric has, that apparently I sold him 4 or 5 years ago because I bought it as a strawberry, no, not a strawberry, a coral ghost, and it did not turn into a coral ghost. And that's the only snake I regret selling, and I'm so glad that it came around that he's got it.
That's cool.
Have you started pairing anything up, Kosicki?
I've got a lot of those locality corns, local corns together. I had that little lockup with the albino okites, but we'll see. My stuff breeds later because I don't brumate a lot of stuff. I use the natural light cycles and drop in the room temperature and stuff. And that's actually what I want to ask you, Chris. What temps did you hibernate your corns at, or brumate? I'm sorry. Did you just use natural temperatures, or did you actually have a cool area for them?
Are you talking about me or the other?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
I have an air conditioning system that goes in my closet, so I brumate at between 55 and 60, 65 sometimes for the corns. But I do a lot shorter, mostly because there's a blaring air conditioning system in my room.
I was going to say, you think the man with Het 6 gene animals is just cracking a window?
No, well, I can't. It's 90 degrees in December.
I think BMW's mapping out their engines with a pen and pencil. Hell no, man.
But no, I brumate them in this. There's actually a closet in this room, and I have a stand-up air conditioning system, and I vent it to my room. It's kind of cool it keeps my room about 78 degrees during the winter when it naturally cools down to about 69, 70. So my room gets a little warmer.
Nice.
And I use that to feed heavy, right? So that's usually when I start getting, I'm down to 20, 30 animals in the room as far as snakes go, and I start feed. But it's a little warmer, so it's a little bit more palatable. Then all my cold stuff, all my Leonis, Alterna, Northern Pines, Black Pines, which I didn't brewmate this year because I just don't want to breed them 2 years in a row. Anything like that all goes to John's house where they're at 50 degrees for like 4.5 months. So I kiss them goodbye and I save money on mice.
Because I think Justin and I get frustrated every winter because my garage is where I would put something, but the temperatures will fluctuate. 50 degrees one week, then it's 80 degrees the next week, and it's just that.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, man. The air conditioning unit that I bought was $500 or $600, and it fits in the closet, and then I have a hose running out, and I put it's kind of cheapy, but I put a blanket over the door so that it traps the temps in there, and it's worked for 5 years or whatever. And it's also cool because then I take it in the garage when I'm working on cars and stuff in my garage in the middle of the summer. I just run that out the door. Now I have a little AC system in the garage.
Yeah, awesome.
So
how about you?
Any unnatural cooling? You do it all just as temps cool down and.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't have the temps just don't cool down that much consistently here.
Yeah.
So and then the first snakes I ever bred, I basically covered them up in darkness for about 3 months, and the corn snakes, and they did just fine. So, like I said, my stuff usually starts breeding in April and May, and then I'll get eggs in June, July, August, and the latest I had hatch out last year were Everglade rat snakes in October 30th.
Dude, my Everglades just stay in the room cohab year round, and that's about when mine hatched last year was sometime in October. They don't brewmate. They just natural light cycle. I feed them the same amount in the winter as I do during the summer, and they've bred 2 years in a row, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't breed this year. Yeah, Everglades rats are great.
They are awesome.
Yeah, they're as far as obsolete goes, they're a little smaller. They're a little easier to get started. I found mine were pretty damn quick going, and they breed really easy, and they're gorgeous. They're just insanely beautiful animals.
Yeah. What other snake in the world gets that bright orange color?
Amazon tree boas.
Tell them, Justin. Ooh.
That you can hold and interact with.
What are those spiky little vipers that are like neon orange?
Squams.
Yeah, those things are cool.
Eyelash vipers. Yeah, usually. Depending.
Albino reverse OKT. That's what's up.
Christian, what's new on your end?
Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I got that 1.1 pair coming from Tony D tomorrow.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so if anything, that'll be the only pair I would accept breeding because I've never bred before. So he did most of the work for me. The brewmated, ready to go. He said they might even have locked up already prior to him shipping. So I may not have to do anything. Just one day put a lay box in there for us, see what happens if he's grabbing.
Now, are those both had AML?
I'm sorry, broke up a bit.
I said, are they both had AML?
I don't think so, honestly. No.
Okay, so you're gonna get it's buckskins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are killer. Those things are smoke shows.
Yeah, so if you guys need them, I got you.
Yeah, I need them.
Just pay for the shipping.
That'll be cool. I hope they go. But even then, if they don't, that'll be something exciting to play with next year.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the perfect thing to have in a collection of, because I know you have a diverse collection of different morphs.
Yeah.
It's a perfect thing to have for outcrossing, right? It's the perfect animal to grab and be like, all right, I've bred this, I produced these. This year, I'm going to give maybe this female off. You know what? I'm going to take this male that's, some killer male. I'm going to breed him to this buckskin female. And just produce some kind of outcross buskins, but now I have heads I can play with and stuff to stick in.
That stuff I get excited about for that tying it into other things sort of deal. Like I feel like I do nothing but beat this dead horse. But like the Ladies Island stuff, like plugging that into other morph things and like seeing what it does to stuff, 2-3 generations in, whatever. And then like stuff like the buckskin, like I'd be doing the same thing, like buckskin to some of the ultramale stuff, like buckskin to Sunkiss stuff, like just see what it does, just.
Yeah, ultramale is definitely something I want to get into, man, because I'm seeing some of these ultramale Okatees and they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, ultramales are. Man, I probably got too much ultramale.
I have no.
I've got into ultramales too.
I have a lot of ultramale. Actually, that's pretty much how I based a lot of my collection around, was getting an A-male version and an ultramale version and just getting the pair.
Yeah.
So I'm heavy on the Sunkiss in Miami in my collection.
Yeah, you have that one. Jesus Christ.
That Walter Smith.
That thing is killer.
Every time I see it, I'm like, damn it, I need it.
Dude, it's awesome.
It was pricey, but I kind of had to have that snake, man.
There you go.
Dude,
I feel you on that.
Thing's a smoke show. This is an ultramale Tessera girl. I've never bred her. I just don't know if I have something to pair her to yet, but I've held back a Tessera A-male. But yeah, ultramales, dude. Ultramales are just great. I love that orange softness they get. And see, she's got a little bit of that yellow, right? She's got a little bit of that yellow on the neck.
I'm trying to think what I have right now.
Well, if you breed ultramale to ultramale,
you're going to get all
enormous.
Kinds of...
Right?
No, you're going to get ultras, A-males, and ultramales. The problem is the ultras can be difficult to tell that they're ultras.
Can't you tell by the eyes?
Sometimes. Some ultramales. Yeah, so this girl's ultramale, and when she came out, she had the red pupil, and now... Oh, she's trying to breed me. Oh, weird. She's starting to do the twitch. Oh, I wonder if she smells the boy I was holding. But
she's ready, man. Put them together.
No.
Yeah.
I've never bred her. She's one of my favorite snakes, and I just always kind of just had her. And she's from she's from the same dad as the other one, but a different mom. But yeah, man, ultramales have got that. There's something special about ultramales. It's hard to beat them, and it's really cool to pair into everything. I'm making all the ultramales again this year.
I love the Anery ultramales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That yellow they get on the throat.
Snow tramels.
I like gold dust.
Gold dust are badass. Yeah.
That's what this guy is. He's blood red, ultramel caramel, and stripe.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I got him. He's from VMS. This one's also named Midas, just like your yellow guy.
Hey. Oh, his name's not Midas anymore.
What did you change it to?
I started naming all the animals that are having sex with their relatives after the Lannisters from Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's a better idea. I like that.
Because I was like, man, I'm kind of just like inbred on inbred and inbred again. And I was like, oh, man, y'all are all just Lannisters. So
that's great. That's actually pretty good.
So they
I got the pair of Motley Gold Dust from VMS too.
Yes.
That tried to breed at a very young age in January this year.
Oh, wow.
Were those the ones that he was selling when he was going out of business?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought about getting a couple of snakes off of him, but I couldn't at the time.
That was crazy. Yeah, they were dropping prices.
Logo on pewters and stuff, and I'm kicking myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pewters. Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
I'm lucky I got my ultramel pewters from him. Those were nice. Because I was looking, I was like, should I get the male or should I get the female? And then I was like, I gotta get both. I can use both.
Why is this even a decision?
Oh my god! Now when I see them like next to each other, because I'm like, they look so similar that like I have to look at the head pattern just to tell them apart. But then as they grow, there's just slight variations. One's getting more pink. One has darker saddles. I love them.
Yeah.
Man, I love it because that little pewter I have from Chris, shed, like that pattern is just fading and fading.
Dude, those pewters are cool. Hopefully, I have like most of a collection of charcoal tessera head diffused boy to pewter girl looks promising. They didn't go last year. That was one of the pairs that I broodmated and didn't get didn't breed for me last year. But pewter girl's huge. She looks beautiful. So I'd like to see a clutch out of them. If I produce just a whole thing of pewters, I'd just be the happiest person on the planet.
See, you guys kill me taking a perfectly good blotched orange-red snake and making it striped and gray.
Yeah. Isn't that just the weirdest thing? Oh, man. I never think about that.
See, but I mean, like, even the Cinder stuff is like that, though.
Yeah.
Cinder's awesome, too.
That's like a... Well, I picked up that... So I picked up the Shatter AML Miami lineage. I'm just going to say Miami because that's what it was kind of coined as. So it was like a peppermint Shatter. And I got that this weekend. Or a couple weekends ago. And that's like a really cool looking animal. It's such a subdued weirdness to it. And it's a boy too, which is good. I'm glad that it's a boy. It's not related to anything I have that I know of. So that'll be cool to play with. It's in quarantine forever. But
just like you.
Right? Yeah. I sniffled
All
like
of us.
I sneezed like twice today. So now I've got to stay inside and not go outside and have cigars. But I'm playing with animals without gloves on, so I'm gonna
Keller was saying that he's going to send you like a glitter bomb filled with pollen. He's probably going to put you in
No.
Oh, dude.
Dude, it's so bad around here. My wife literally was in the hospital like 2 weeks ago because of her allergies.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so bad.
You're gonna want to come down here then.
Dude,
No.
every road is yellow.
New York is surprisingly bad with allergies. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's not good right now.
I think it was the shortness of winter, right? Like winter was kind of quick and harsh this year,
All the
and
damn
I feel like
pine.
everything's just already blowing in, man.
Everything is.
There was no
Yeah.
winter there.
Insects are already coming back too around here.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of mosquitoes and flies around. I'm just like, what the hell?
Dude, the mosquitoes have been brutal here too. Yesterday when I found that copperhead, man, I was like trying to like move this thing. The mosquitoes were just having a field day with my legs because they were like, his guard's down, get him now.
that was a pretty copperhead, man. Gorgeous animal.
Yeah, that's
That was gorgeous.
Jake was like, where'd you find that? And I was like, you already know where I found it. The tin stacks that you always laugh at me for going and checking because there's nothing under them. And I almost put the tin back down because I lifted it because I did stacks now instead of single sheets. And that was the very last one, and I'm like looking around like ain't nothing down here. And then I look down the very end. Like I'm kind of glad that I did because my next stop would have been a single or like two sheets that are pretty much right in front of that spot where it was sitting. Like there's a gap there under that tin where if I'd stepped there, I probably would have been tagged. But I looked and did a double take, and I was like, oh, jackpot. Those are cool little snakes, man.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. The I think they're Pictogast for the ones we get here in the Trans-Pecos area are just, oh my gosh. Yeah. Every time we see one, it's just they're great.
Dreaming of the day where I lift up that tin and there's a corn there. Another Ladies Island corn. Just
maybe you'll just like perpetually be plagued with Eastern
or coral snake, Justin.
At this point, I'm like, look, I've resigned myself to the fact that I'll never see a live coral snake again.
Oh man,
but at least give me a corn, give me something.
That'd be cool.
I'm a simple man. That's all I need.
You're gonna find a coral snake eating a baby corn.
Probably.
Oh my
Actually,
gosh.
knowing my luck, that's very likely.
You'll find a Eastern King, a Getula complex eating a coral snake, and you just punch it
while the coral is eating a corn.
There's always a bigger snake.
There's always a bigger snake.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the morph wish list for this year that you guys are eyeballing or wanting to, whether you actually do or not? What are you wanting to pull the trigger on?
I want to add a diffused ice this year.
Yeah.
And get some lava, more lava into my collection, and start on that project.
See, oddly enough, the lava stuff doesn't do much for me, but the ice stuff I really, really, really like.
That's what I'm saying.
So what is ice?
Ice is lava and anery together.
Okay.
You add blood red on top of that. They look like really nice pewters, I should say.
Yeah.
Like a little bit light colored.
Because it's softer than a ghost, right? It's different from
Yeah, and I believe they've been referred to as. Oh, there's some type of ghost. I forget.
I'll be right
Either
back.
way, I that's one of the ones I want to kind of add. I want to add some more homozygous cinder to my collection too. Just almost anything at this point. Even something that looks really nice het. Like you can get some of those just motley het cinders.
Yeah.
Or have a total like that zombie head look to them.
Yeah.
I really like so. So I'm eyeing up a lot of Carol stuff this year. I can't wait to see what she produces out. Last year I was super excited. I wasn't able to purchase anything, but this year I'll be keeping my eye.
She's got to have a wait list that's like.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Like,
always on that list.
When I see her posting stuff on Morph Market, I'm like, how do you even have stuff to post? Like, how does this stuff not fly off?
Every time she's posted, like she posted her pairings, and I was like, I can't wait to watch all these. Like, I wonder what I wonder who's gonna get stuff. Like, I wonder how quickly it's gonna go, and then it'll just be like, oh, it's on Morph Market, and then it's like, do I have enough in the bank? And then it's gone, and I'm like, of course it's gone. Within like 3 seconds, I go back. The next day, it's gone.
Yep.
So.
I got 4 for Carol this year from her last breedings.
Yeah, you got some of that weirdo.
Yeah, that weirdo clutch.
Yes, I'm excited to see how those go.
Yeah, me too. I got a female from that clutch. She seems to be fading already, but I definitely want to see how she is in about a year or 2.
Yes.
I can't think of a single person who produces, the Tessera and Stripe stuff that's as clean as these, like,
and Miami stuff. Just
that's unbelievable.
I got a Miami Tessera male from her this year. He's clean.
Mm-hmm. There's like it's like the sharpest whites in a non-color augmenting morph animal. She's really refined it. It looks great.
Yeah, no cinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Cinder caramel or thorn scrub? Y'all tell me. These things
definitely not red factor.
It goes through a weird transition where she's changed colors like 5 times, but that's a cinder caramel from JT.
Damn,
nice. Kind of a weird, like I said, weird color transition. She had some gold in there. It kind of went away. Now she kind of looks thorn scrubby, and so I'm stoked to see where this little one goes.
So I was wondering about that a little bit because I was trying to find, because I was on Ian's and I kept looking up, some of my ideas for projects is trying to get a caramel shatter, bringing that yellow back in, and I was wondering if Buff could do it, but then I was like, I think the Cinder just overrides it.
Yeah, Cinder and Buff are probably not going to work together.
Yeah.
Cinder just does so much washing out on the color, and then it has the whole kind of thing, the hypoerythristic thing going on.
I didn't do that. That was his internet.
But then
does anybody have female cinders?
Yes, I have a female visual cinder zombie line motley from JT.
Are they as rare to produce as what I've heard?
I don't know. I have heard that you usually produce much less visual cinder females.
It's like a sex link thing or something.
Yeah. It may also be harder to see because oh man, my brain just shut off. Hypoerythristic animals are just so much more. It's there's a sex link visual to it usually, and it's seen in other species as well that are hypoerythristic. So I know I always call cinder hypoerythristic because that's what I think it is, because it looks exactly like every other hypo-E on the planet.
Yeah.
And it has a visual het, which you'll find a lot of hypo-E animals do have visual hets. It's kind of like leucistic and palmetto, right? Like palmetto is the leucistic corn snake. Mm-hmm. It just looks different. There's obviously it's not that, but it has the same eye development issue. It has the same visual het as almost everything that's leucistic has a visual het. There's a lot of that going on. So, but yeah, Christian, was there anything you're looking excited about adding this year or on the hunt for?
He's already on a roll with buckskins, man.
He's already adding.
I've been having no remorse this year, man. I need to calm down a bit, actually.
I told you months ago. You got to stop buying. We're not into the
I
season
told myself that. I told everybody that, but
yet.
you can't believe me anymore when it comes to corn snakes.
Dude, literally,
Yeah,
I told my wife, I was like, I'm done buying. I was like, I told Christian he's done buying too. And then it would be like, Christian bought another thing. It's like, he bought another thing. It's like,
Yeah,
all right, he's just going to keep buying stuff, but I really can't.
it's a sickness, man. It's a sickness.
Dude, I'm telling you.
You got to jump on the good opportunities like that when they come available.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like-
when you're at Daytona and you're like, "Hey, Mike, there's a really cool Red Factory entry on that table over there. You should go check it out." I think I want to get it. Like, I'll swing back by if it's still there. I might get it. I'll turn around the corner and that fool's like, "Guess what? I got in my backpack."
There are certain parts of what you just said that I did not hear at Daytona. All I heard was a really cool anery at that table.
It crossed my mind. See, the problem was like they had the 2 rooms last year.
Yeah.
And so like I
Yeah,
didn't want to buy anything in the first room because I hadn't been in the main room yet. And I was like, I already kind of like honey was on the top of the list, just a female honey.
Yeah.
And I made the critical error of sticking to that gun too much because then you go by Tony D's table and see those ultras that he had and I'm just kicking myself. But I mean, had I not found the other things that I ended up buying, like that Red
Right.
Factory was definitely worth going back and looking at again. But I'm glad Mike got it. Like somebody I know got it.
Yeah.
Because in 2 years, you may be getting those back to you.
Yeah.
Maybes, of course.
What are you planning to put that to?
That one that we got that I got. Oh, I got. I bought the 2 females at the show, the normal and that anery, and then after the show, I got 2 males to match. So I'm going to breed it
nice.
together. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they've got a lot of hets in them, and supposedly that line is from, not Tony. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but the fellow that he usually shares a table with that wrote that book.
Drumbauer?
Yes. So there's supposedly anery, A-melt, and stuff in there too. We'll see.
It'll be
That's
interesting.
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Man, Tony had those sun-kissed. He had a sun-kissed female and a male sun-kissed buff, and they were breeding size. Like they could easily breed this year if we would have bought them last year at Daytona, and they were like appropriately priced. And I had already spent so much money, and I was like, "Oh man." And then, like a month and a half later, he posted them on Fauna or Morph Market or something.
Yeah.
And I still didn't buy them. Oh, I'm so mad. And then they sold.
Regrets.
Of course they sold.
He has a really high white AML buff, like from Buckskin. I think it was Buckskin Het buff.
Yeah.
Buckskin Het AML 2 high white extreme reverse oak.
I think that's right.
The one male that he got from it that he always posts pictures is
I got to
just
get my Barky dog.
striped white and orange, white orange. And I'm like, what? I need that.
He had these high white ultra males that Justin was just like holding and like, I also need these.
Yes.
They were badass. They were
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that pup.
He got attacked. He has this Red Zeppelin on his page. That's crazy too.
Oh, yeah, Red Zeps. I got one of my friends is hopefully producing Red Zeps this year. Sunkiss Red Zeps.
Nice. Yeah.
Sun-kissed Red Zeppelin.
I've got the my Sunkist and my Red Zep are doing good that I picked up at Daytona this year. I'm stoked on them. They're had some issues with them. They're great now. I don't even look at them. Right? I just like they're eating great. They're not giving me any problems. So they're just kind of sitting in their little tub and do their thing. And,
See, that's the Red Zep stuff I like a lot too, but it's one of those ones where it's like, it seems like it genetically it doesn't seem like it has much of a foundation in terms of like strength.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're, we're talking about outcrossing, it's like the moment you do that, it's no longer technically Red Zep.
But that's what's cool about it, though. It's a totally original A-male gene that popped up, not related to anything else.
I think that it's okay to outcross it as long as you're keeping it in true Okadi locality animals.
Yeah.
Because Howie Sherman and Tony D and Craig Trumbauer, when they started producing those, that was kind of their plan, and that's how they got the Sunkissed into it. Because I think Howie Sherman had the original Sunkissed that they found in almost the same area, and that's how they started producing that stuff.
Huh. Well, I guess so. My question is, if you were to have a red Zep and you were going to start outcrossing it just to different, projects. Let's say you're going to take it and you're going to throw it straight into, your caramel snakes. Obviously, the pairings, I wouldn't be like, these are red Zeps. Like,
No.
I wouldn't label them.
Yeah.
But I would say, hey, if somebody were to ask me, I'd say, well, the parent was a red Zep, and that's where the A-male's coming in.
Yeah.
So you could, when you pair F1s back together, you could get something funky looking. If that A-male is completely different, if anything pops up on it.
They did prove out that is the stock standard A-male gene, and then they proved it out with Ultramel as well.
Okay.
But I at first I was like, man, you don't take a Red Zeppelin and pair it to anything else. You just don't do it, right? Red Zeps go to Red Zeps.
That's always the vibe I've gotten from it.
And then now that I've thought about it, I've slept on it. I've when I meditate in the mornings for I was like, man, but what if you took a really nice high red Zep male and paired it to a really pretty reverse Okatee Ultramel? And then I stop and go, these guys already did that, right? Yeah. And now I just say it was a reverse Okatee to a Ultramel Okatee, right? There's nothing wrong with saying that. You just cut the Red Zep out. Now, Red Zep is kind of the locality albino, and then when it's paired to anything else, it's a gorgeous-looking reverse Okatee. There's nothing wrong with that. And I kind of stopped and thought, I was like, man, we just don't carry the Red Zep name, and it's not. And anybody producing Red Zeps is gonna sell them as Red Zeps because it's a $300 albino snake. You know what I mean? It's you're getting your money for your, but the second you take a Red Zep and pair it to an Ultramel, you're not selling it for $300 a piece, right?
Red Zep.
No, it's a $125. I don't know prices on. I suck at selling animals, but yeah, there's the price drops because it doesn't have the ambiance. It doesn't have that heirloom feeling to it.
The purity.
It doesn't have the purity.
Yeah, but what happens when, you have animals that are now like 2 generations removed from that original Red Zep, and then they look super different or unique, and then somebody goes, well, what caused that? And then you're like, Red Zep from about, 15 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like the point of good documentation and stuff.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's why I want to bring sort of the lineage tracking that is so popular in chondros. I want to bring that to the corns and stuff I'm producing, because it's like, yeah, okay. So I have I'll put it in terms of chondros because apparently that's all I'm good for and all I know. Like any of the Signal Herp line stuff, which was Rico Walder. Like I have that lineage in some of my animals. But I'm not going to say they're Signal Herp line animals.
Yeah.
Could we go back and look at some things and say, okay, something interesting came out of, A, maybe that came from the fact that there was that Signal Herp lineage in the back mixed with like some Vinsky stuff or whatever. I think that having it there and saying like, this could be why it looks the way it does is because I had not a Led Zepp, a Red Zep.
Led Zeppelins.
So
in the mix at some point.
Yeah.
If we put that into terms of like corn snakes, like is that similar to how people are trying to get back to that old school blood red type?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where people like we've had years of generations of crossing different types of diffuse and blood reds together to where we now have like a weird split of old school blood red and then we have like the new school.
And it's kind of funny because I'm one of those people that calls my blood red old school blood red.
Right.
I kind of stop and think about it. It's like, why do I call my blood red an old school blood red?
But I mean,
because it's an old school blood red. Yeah.
Right.
My strawberry diffused corn snakes, if you looked at them if you saw them on a table at a show, you'd go, oh, blood red.
Yeah.
But they came from SMR, labeled as strawberry diffused. So I'm going with that.
Yeah. And there's, we can get tied into the pied stuff. There's so many things that go back from stated lineage to, what is a blood red? What is the diffused? We know that the gene is diffused. We proved the gene out. We've taken diffused and put it into wild occurring corn snakes. And depending on the locality of those corn snakes, we get a specific look for the blood reds and a specific look for just the diffused animal. And then, and then we pair that into a million different things. Leonis guys, variable king snake guys have been doing this for years, right?
Nerds.
They're the same thing though, but I have bloaty line times vivid line times bobble line. Excuse me, sorry guys, I am dealing with these allergies pretty aggressively. But I have all
have
these
your
different...
EpiPen with you.
always. Just keep it right here. But all these different lines of animals, and people want to know when I'm selling a Leonis, they're like, hey, what's the lineage of this animal? I'm like, well, it's a vivid line animal to a vivid times highland animal, and here's the parents came from these people. So I track lineage on all of my variable king snakes to show people, and it's kind of, maybe it's because we don't have that constructive hobbyist niche in corn snakes. There's more people breeding corn snakes than there is any other colubrid, right? There definitely any other colubrid, potentially any other snake. Maybe ball pythons kind of rival them. I think there's probably more corn snakes produced. So following lineage becomes very difficult. Little Timmy goes to a reptile show, buys a corn snake, wants to be a corn snake breeder, and then the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, what do the parents look like, or what's the lineage? And even as I'm saying this, I'm cogitating, I'm thinking about it. Crested gecko and gargoyle gecko people produce 1 billion crested geckos, and they always want to know lineage. You know what I mean? When I sell something to a breeder, they always want parent pictures. They always want lineage of animals. So maybe it is something we need to work on with the corn snakes for sure.
Some of the shows that I've been to, I've been at tables where I've helped my friends sell, and half the time I know he doesn't get that question. And I've heard some of the people go, I kind of want to breed in the future, and this is going to be like my new future breeder, male or female. And I give it up to people in my area. They always are so good. They hand business cards, social media. If you have any questions, please contact me. They have lineage. They know where it's at. Yeah. It's written down. If you ever get to that point where you're going to breed, they can give it to you. But then,
absolutely,
what's the percentage of people that aren't going to do that? And what does it take for us as future, current and future breeders to be writing down this lineage? And so in the future, when we know that little Timmy sets up his business and he has one of your weird anery yellow boys paired over to a snow, and he's producing something brand new.
Yeah, I think it's having sort of, now that I'm kind of surprised this hasn't sort of been more of a thing in the previous 2 decades or whatever, but like having those flagship animals that we've talked about it before, like Hannibal is a good example, like that weird yellow male that Chris has there, like animals that definitely stand out that people can look at and say, oh yeah, I remember that one. We see that with chondros a lot. Like there's a handful of chondros that if you see their name on lineage, like you automatically know. Some of them don't even necessarily have names. Some of them just have like a serial number, and there's guys that have memorized that and they know exactly which animal that is.
Yeah.
And like, I think, like I said, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen more of that over the years with corns. Maybe it's just because they kind of get,
they're mass produced.
Not necessarily written off, but people don't think that it's worthy of that amount of detail. I guess
people think about them as disposable, right? Yeah. They're I've got some corns. Oh yeah, I've got some Mannery corns. I got those from this person. I got them from that person. I don't know. I picked them up at a show, and they breed every year. I wholesale them. I get $25 a snake. We're good.
But like Christian and that Walter animal, it's like we all remember that animal when we see it. We're like, that thing killer.
Every single time.
She nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things, like, because I'm still pretty new, and when I was starting to like get snakes for my collection, when I was buying from VMS, and I would go, hey, what's the lineage? He was copying it from whatever sheet that he has. He's like, here's the parents, here's all the heads. You know, it even had some tests, like, I've tested for this head, I've tested for this, and it was either a yes or no, like serial number right there. And I still have all those. So like anything that I got from VMS, if somebody goes, you know, oh, what were the parents for this, and then what were the parents for some of the parents, I could boom right here.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And that's one of the things I like about what Eric does. You know, I know as you know, sort of goofy as it might sound, like naming your animals. I mean, I name mine, and I think for the sake of like, it's easier to build an association like with a face and a name, so to speak, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know, when you see Eric's postings, and I see that he's got, you know, those Castagnas or that Mandarin female. You know, when I see that name pop up and he's posting stuff for sale, it was, you know, Billy X, you know,
wait, yeah,
not Billy. Like, that's not an actual name. I'm just thinking of
right. But
Gertrude. I remember
like,
what animals those are.
When I got some snakes from Eric the very first time, I remember the first one that I got it. You know, I got the little note card, and at the top it said, you know, the snake serial number. Here's the, you know, visuals and the hats and the paw sets, and then over at the top corner it just said 2 names. You know, name 1 to X to name 2, and I was just
proving
like,
our point because we can't remember the names.
Yeah. Well, mine was Charlie de Buzzy, I believe, was the first one, and I then remember just going onto his Facebook and seeing if he had pictures of those 2 snakes, and sure as shit he did, and I saved pictures of them, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, here's the... Oh.
Right, Daddy.
And then I remember just being like, well, that's cool. I was like, you know, showing my wife, I was like, here's the parents of the snake we just got.
See, listen to what we're talking about, too. We're not talking about buying a random snake we think is pretty at a reptile show from some unknown person. I mean, you guys are all buying known commodities from known breeders. And it's the whole quality in, and you're going to get quality out.
And
I think too, probably... how you positioned yourself too, in terms of like, I'm not just producing corns to sell corns. You know, like there's like, you go to Daytona, for example. You know, you have your bigger sort of wholesalers, importers, whatever, and they almost always have some corns on their table. Like those are just they're corns that are okay. They were sold as het for, you know, caramel, whatever. Yeah. And then you have guys that have like they're corn breeders, and like they're like Eric that is focused on corns, and like everything is very, very much intentional and sort of planned out and whatnot. And I think those sort of serve 2 different demographics in a sense. I mean, there's definitely going to be crossover. Like if I go to, you know, Underground's table or something at Daytona and they have a really wacky looking corn that stands out, they're like, we don't even know what it is. I'm probably going to grab it just out of curiosity. Like, look, let's see what happens, you know, but at the same time, I'm also going to go to Lee Abbott and see some of the stuff he has and be like, yeah, I need that too. But
and see, I didn't know who that breeder was that had that Anery red factor. All I knew is like Chris and Jake were standing in my way of getting it at the time.
They had nice stuff. Like I didn't either,
but it was so pretty.
Mexican Bears.
But when I got to Lee Abbott's table, I was like, crap, I don't have any money left. I wish I did.
And there's you know, it's kind of funny. We'll buy a snake from a specific breeder sometimes before we'll buy it from somebody else, and it could be literally an identical animal, and it's there's provenance to it, right? There's this. I love being able to say that I have animals from JT. He's my friend. He produces these animals. This is a daughter of Hannibal, right? And I literally will. I don't promote these animals as such, but I think about them, right? I look at them and I'm like, this is a son. You know, I have a son of Hannibal. He's right here. He's right next to me. This animal is that, right? And it's cool to. I not only want to have that, I want to promote that, right? And I want other people to feel that kind of same way. You know what I mean? and it's across the board. That doesn't mean, and there's like an elitist thing that we can get into. That doesn't mean you can't go to a reptile show, see somebody that's got a table for the first time, second time maybe. They've got 5 corn snakes. That doesn't mean you can't buy from them or you shouldn't buy from them.
Mm-hmm.
All that means is become informed on who you're buying from,
Right.
To some extent.
I mean, a good example of that too is at Daytona last year. I wanted a honey, and so I remember Mike Falcon had a table, and he had honeys last year. He had the honey stripe. And I remember the year before that seeing those and being like, man, I really wish I'd grab one of those. And so I was like, okay, I gotta make a beeline for Mike's table in hopes that he has some again this year, and he does. But then he also had that one called the Ultra Fader, that really odd like vanishing stripe one that I got, and it's like I don't even know exactly what's going on with that. I don't know what it got, but it's so interesting. Like it was so interesting, and it caught my attention almost immediately. And he only wanted like $60 for it, so I was like, dude, throw that in there. Like I don't know, who knows what that thing's gonna look like in 2 years. But it's like, I'm gonna find out. Like this thing's just too badass looking to not get it, and it's like, don't know what I'll do with it, but it's just cool.
It's cool. It's Cinder, right?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
Well, it's like for honeys. Who was in that chat that had the was it Chris Nicholas that had that crazy pair? Was it the blood red?
Yeah, Chris Nicholas.
Yeah, that I mean, just the 2 snakes that he posted or that he sent pictures of. My God, the honeys those things will produce.
Yeah.
I'm 3rd on that waiting list. Trust me.
Are you? Shit, I better be 4th then. I gotta go text him.
You better hurry up, man.
Yo, okay, but also Ryan Farrell.
Yeah.
Oh
God.
Everything that guy posts, dude. Everything. I text Christian all the time. I'm like, what is this?
He got
where did it all come from?
I thought he was photoshopping for a while.
I know. Well,
all his stuff is clean, man.
Clean.
There's not a snake he posts that I do not want or just drool over.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to create that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Every time he posts a snake, I'm like, I would give 5 of my snakes away for that one right now. I would. It's literally just like your sun-kissed Amel. Your Miami. Every time I see that, I'm like, it's too beautiful. I can't.
I need to see
I give up.
updated pictures from Justin of that bone white headed Amel that I sent you.
Oh,
what is that thing doing? She's a demon.
She's horrible.
Demon.
Like I walk in the room and I hear like a thud on the glass, and I look over and it's her just like chewing like a zombie on the freaking side of the tub, and I'm like,
this snake down her spine in one little section has a straight line, and the pattern is just shifted on that straight line. It's super weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
snake, dude.
The bone white head has definitely faded, and it's more like a phallic colored tan.
Okay.
But so I have
phallic
her,
colored
and
tan.
then
I feel like we could have probably spent a little more time on that. We could have gone with so we could have gone with some other forms of tan.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I see it and I'm like, that looks familiar.
Can I buy that paint at Hobby Lobby?
I'm going, yeah.
Oh,
you surely have one of those paints for your models there, Chris.
I have a few hundred paints in front of me.
Skin tone just wasn't descriptive enough.
Oh God! Actually, it's so funny. It literally says cock tan on it, right?
Hey, no more black and white pictures with the snakes you ship out now.
Yeah.
There we go. We're good. Oh my! Not everybody knows about that. That's an inside. That's inside baseball. Not everybody knows about the pictures.
One day there will be a gallery filled with Pain Shab original art, and it's going to be no children allowed.
No children allowed. No.
But it will be a sight.
Yeah, if you're a homie and you're getting a box from me with animals in it, 1, you don't know what you're getting from me, and 2, it's going to have some original art.
Oh no!
You remember in Superbad when he was a kid and he kept drawing dicks all over everything? That whole montage is exactly what you get when you open a box from Chris, like almost every time.
You know, gotta do what you gotta do, guys.
It's possessed by some sort of dick demon. Dick demon.
You hit her foot with your dick? He's just shoving the paper in his mouth.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's good times. You know, luckily I'm almost 40, so.
You don't look a day over 55.
Yeah.
And you probably feel like you're 60.
Yeah, I really do. Life is good. Life is good. Life is good.
Everything hurts.
I have that female. I got that. Ryan Cox sent me that AML buff male that he got from Phelan, and I kind of got him with her in mind. So,
does that look like the male that went with the high white female that I posted?
Yes. Yes. They're probably related, I think.
Yeah,
I have to imagine. Yeah.
Which those two babies, the pair that I got from you from that pairing, those are still interesting too, because it's like the male, he seems to be getting more of that pinkish orangish tone to him between the saddles, and the female is keeping a lot of the white, so it's almost like you like mirroring the parents in a way.
I specifically paired those because I wanted to see if the Miami Okatee side of him would come out with that high white from SMR. And it looks like it kind of did.
Yeah, dude, that female's retaining a lot of that white, and I love it. I like AML, but dude, like high white stuff is sign me up. Like,
it pops.
I like oranges and all, but for some reason when it comes to AMLs, man, like candy canes, I want white.
I'm gonna see if I can grab this female real quick.
That's why I'm excited for a lot of my future pairings that are just going to have some buff on top of them. I'm going to have AMLs and Ultramel versions of a lot of that, like Miami stuff, and then hopefully diffuse on top of all that too. So, oh yeah, what's that? Extreme reverse.
Yeah.
God, I love the golden color.
So she has a bit of that I don't know, sometimes that greenish hue to it that those snows get sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's not the cleanest white, but she's nice.
Dude, that's
yeah,
killer.
I gotta get some of those.
I was gonna say that's like this girl. It almost looks like a fluorescent.
Yeah.
But dude, that white saturation is insane.
Yeah, she's great. I got her from Orlando Diaz Fig.
See, this is the girl that's going to go to the Ultramel boy now. So, hopefully she does.
Fluorescent, right?
What's that?
Fluorescent?
Yeah, so this is a fluorescent line. And all fluorescent line is somebody's line of reverse Okatees, right? Like,
yeah.
And I should know whose it is, and I don't mean to skip over. I shouldn't talk about that lightly, because as we sit here and talk about the importance of lineage and where the snakes are coming from, and I'm like, oh yeah, some guy spent 20 years making corn snakes look like fucking fireballs. And anyways, but yeah, so this is their fluorescent line, and she has kind of that super neat blushing on the sides, which is one of the things I find kind of intriguing about this line of animals is that you've got this deep saturation that goes into these white kind of crest geckos we would call portals, right? And then the sharp white contrast. And this was actually produced by my friend Kim Ball from Oddball Exotics up in Buffalo, New York. But this girl is going to go to, or already has been going to, Ultramel, Motley, Tessera, Het Ainary boy to see what we get from that clutch.
That's nice, man.
That female you have is going to be insane. She's going to be wild.
She's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
What's that, Alex?
This is from one of my first pairings from last year. This is a fluorescent Okatee to the Ultramel blood red girl.
Nice.
So she's a very red AML. She's got a little bit of that Okatee influence, but she's also very orange because of the fluorescent.
It's a good looking animal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also got bit by the extreme Okiti bug as well. I got like 4 of those things in the past few months.
Do it.
The fluorescent amels that I got from SMR, I've pretty much just started calling them amel okities.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they look like. And I don't know if fluorescent, what that is, or what, it's an amel okiti is what it is.
Yeah, all it is just it's a some say extreme reverse okiti or okiti. Gosh, I changed between okiti and okiti and anary and anary 12 times every podcast, and every time I do it, Justin looks pissed.
I thought you guys were messing with me when I came back, and all three of you said okiti.
Okiti.
It is okiti, right? Justin, you literally live there. How do y'all say it?
You want it to be.
How do y'all say it when you're there?
Okay. Here's the odd thing about that whole thing, right? So there's Okatee, which is spelled Okatie, and that is considered like a county near, like right there with Jasper. And then there's the Okete Hunt Club, which is spelled Okeetee. But I don't know anybody that actually pronounces it phonetically like that. Like, I always just call them Okatees, which, just like the whole Macklets thing that everyone gives me such a hard time about with Macklets pythons, it's like, I'm saying it the same way. It's just the emphasis on the syllable is not the same. Okatee is almost the short form of Okete, and it's just because Okete is more clunky and doesn't feel natural to me. Same with Macklot.
Yeah.
Like I say, Macklets.
I think that's the same thing with Anery. Like, Anery is actually pronounced Anary, right? Because it's just like amel, right? It's not. We don't say amel, right? We say amel. It is the lack of melanin. So Anery is the lack of nari, right?
Yeah. So I always just say Okatee, just because that's.
I think Okatee sounds better, but I'm just going to keep swapping between the two because I'm dumb.
Same.
But I'd rather just be ignorant and happy than
like if someone says Okatee, like I know what they're talking about. I know what they mean. If someone says Okatee, I know what they mean. Like I get it.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. However you want to pronounce it, I guess. Go nuts.
Yeah.
If somebody says water and water, I know what they're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah,
Waters.
Mario Kart. Let's go play some Mario Kart, guys.
Nobody ever said Mario. Oh man, down here
Mario
we can't even
Kart.
say
I've never heard that.
What?
Yeah.
Mario Kart? Hell no.
Mario Kart. Yeah, I got family out in Jersey. It's Mario Kart, not Mario Kart.
Oh man.
Let's go play Mario Kart. No.
Let's go play some Marios.
Sounds like how they'd pronounce it in like North Dakota or something. Well, yeah, Mario Kart.
The train's derailing. Anyways, back on the reverse Okatee thing. We can sit here and we can pull strings on this. Which is kind of cool. We have fluorescent lineage. We have Sherman line Okatees. We have Abbott line Okatees. We have old school Red Zepp line Okatees. We have some of the actual Hunt Club stuff that Chris Montross is working with that we think is just gorgeous. In the end, these are all local. So few animals came out of that locality that looked that good. That when they did come out, they looked that good. These guys jumped on them and started working with them, which makes perfect sense. And then we have the actual phenotype of the Okatee phenotype or the Miami phenotype, right? These are not animals that are necessarily from there. They're what we think they look like. So when we have one of these crazy white bordered amels, the best way for us to kind of talk about that is a reverse Okatee. But in all actuality, there's only one gene being expressed, right? It's only one recessive gene. It's amel. It's an amel animal. But Mike, you're right. Sometimes it gets a little confusing when we start picking and poking what thing we're going to call it. But this derives back to the original conversation we're having. We want to maintain lineage. We want to promote positive breeding through lineage record keeping. Where do we? We're picking and choosing, and that kind of becomes that kind of devoids itself down to elitism, right? Like I'm saying that this is correct because this is how I do it, and you should do it the same way as me, instead of us all coalescing in a specific way.
I was pretty not really sad, but a little amazed. a couple of years ago, someone posted some Sherman line Okeetees on Fauna, and several people asked, like, what is Sherman? What does that mean?
So
in the 2000s, Howie Sherman had the best looking Okeetees.
He really did. I think he still does.
That's why you got to keep these lines going.
Yeah. And that's, you know, even Tony D, when he was on, was talking about maintaining some of the lineage with this buckskin line. He is still producing these buckskins and still calling them buckskins. And they don't look like buckskins anymore. They look like neon tron blue, odd off-color OKD things that are just like amazing. And he's like, no, those are pure buckskins. And I'm like, see, that's kind of paying homage to that lineage, because that is where the lineage is derived from, and they're just sticking with this as the original line.
I shared an elevator with Howie Sherman at Daytona last year. He doesn't know this, but I don't know if I was going up to our room or if I was going down to the lobby or something, but he got on and I like held the door for him and I just kind of like stood there. I was like, it'd be really like, I want to be like, hey man, I'm a big fan. It'd be really, but I thought it would be really weird. So I didn't say a word. It was just like, how's it going?
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I know he's like super nice and he wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been weird.
He's standing,
make this
he's
real
standing
awkward.
there. Please don't let me get murdered. Please don't let me get murdered. And you're just like, big fan of yours. He's like, what the fuck?
Huh? Yeah, Howie Sherman is a quaintly aged, shorter,
the new furniture you got looks
nice
great
guy.
from the outside, Howie.
And just it's like
You smell different when you're awake.
That was one of the coolest things about Daytona, though, because every time the elevator opened, you never know who you're going to see.
Yeah.
And when we were going up to our room the first time the elevator opened, and there's Phil and Anne Marie standing right there. Just like, oh, hey.
Daytona special.
Highly encourage everybody to go.
Yeah, Christian, are you going to be coming, or Alex? I don't think we've asked you before, but are y'all thinking about coming to Daytona?
Definitely not this year. Maybe next year.
I want to. I'll see where money's at, but I definitely want to.
You already live in the South, Alex. It's a short drive.
I know.
Yeah.
Down where I'm from?
Down where you're from.
Yes. See, the thing with me is, like, if I go there, I'm going to have to ship some snakes back. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, Reptiles Express
I was
will
gonna
actually
say,
take care of that for you.
Reptiles
Yeah.
is there. And they
They're
would
there.
do that.
Oh, they're there?
They straight up
Yeah.
will take your animals, box them up, slap a label on them, and ship them out on Monday.
Oh, damn, you fucked me up, man.
Yeah. It's really cool.
No excuses.
That's nice.
And I think they give you like a 15 or a 20% discount by doing it from the show.
Oh,
That's insane.
nice.
That's smart, too. That's smart.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, it's great marketing. And they're the young gentleman that we got to hang out with, Justin, I forget his name.
Mike. It's Mike Arnold.
Mike, one of the just neatest guys to talk to, will come
Trip.
up and just, dude, he'll start talking to anybody so excited. And it's like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm like the operator of Reptiles Express. I'm like, wait, what? You're like that guy? You're the dude that like does all. He's like, yeah, it's awesome. And he's, you know.
I have gotten the best customer service from Reptiles Express. Just unsolicited emails from them saying, "Hey, your shipment's delayed. We're working on it." That kind of thing. That
Dude,
they're
half
great.
the time
I would never
can-
trust anybody else.
I'll just text the customer service number, be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I got a box that I think might be stuck somewhere," and like they'll either call me or text me back usually, and just let me know what's like. I said this a million times when I talk about them. Like, I wish I had switched over to them sooner because, like, my experience with shipping, and I mean, I've shipped a lot of stuff, and I've been fortunate to not really have any issues. But the handful of times that things have been, delayed or whatever, and they've been really helpful. It's been one of those things where it's like it was easy to get a hold of somebody. They cared enough to sort of look into it seriously and give you a call back and let you know what's going on, and like, and that's not to say that I haven't had that experience with like SYR or anything like that, because I have like
I've
even
had
getting
really good
stuff from other
experience with
people
everybody,
from SYR, like even calling their customer service as someone who's receiving something didn't even buy the label or the box, like they were still super helpful. But I've, in terms of like prices and stuff though, I've like literally gone on all the major shipping companies and done like priced out a box going to and from that's the same size, same weight, to like Corpus, I think is the zip code I put in just to see what the pricing was like, and Reptiles Express beat everybody by a pretty decent margin. So
yeah, I know we weren't going to deep dive on shipping. Every shipping company I probably use or received from and have had nothing but good experiences. They're all great. I started using Reptiles Express, and it was I think I got like a 5% discount. But then I met Mike, and I was like, oh my god, anything this one human being is part of, I want to support. So, anyways, but yeah, Christian, if you go, I fly there, and last year I had a buddy bring snakes back for me that had driven, but my plan was just to ship them back through Reptiles Express. So if you go and you're going to buy something, they handle it completely for you, and obviously it's during the summer, they'll put cool packs and stuff like that in there. It's not even a concern.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing, so you kind of got me going right now. So I'll never be able to like go to Lee Abbott's table unless I go down there or something like that. You don't get that in New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, it's so fun. It's so fun at Daytona.
Christian, drive up to where I live, and then we'll head down together.
For real, right?
He's actually going to drive down to where you are.
Down, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
No, for that that actually works because you're in New York, right? Well, I guess it'd be over. Down a little bit.
See, for you guys going to Daytona, that's like me trying to drive to Tinley in Chicago. It's
yeah. It'd be easier for us to probably do that.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Yeah, it should be. I think Tinley is 22 hours for me, and Daytona, because I got to go all the way around the Gulf of Mexico. Daytona's 18 hours for me or something. I might drive this year. I haven't decided. And the only reason I would drive is just because I had terrible flight experience last time.
Yeah, then return your rental car to Orlando, then drive back to Daytona, and then catch COVID the next day.
Yeah. On the
Forgot
plane.
about that.
I tested positive the day I got back. Yeah, and then I was in North Carolina, just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like Daytona, North Carolina, doing my
Charlotte
thing.
Airport sucks.
And the Charlotte Airport absolutely sucked, and then multiple delays after that. And then I didn't have to take my rental to Orlando. I had to have a tow truck charge me $1,000 to take my rental to Orlando for me, because my flight had to leave at 5:00 in the morning, and it was already 1. And I wasn't going to be able to get there and get on an Uber and come back. Yeah, that was super cool. Thanks. Hey, huge shout out to Florida. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
They're used to that.
You know what you need to do is you just need to take an extra day or two and then just come back up with me and Jake, and then we'll just drive you to Charleston or Savannah, and you just fly out from there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The Hilton Head Savannah Airport is probably my favorite. It's tiny.
Cool.
It's like a singular sort of terminal thing, and everything branches off from that. Like there's no mile-long walk from one side to the other. Like it's small. Savannah's it's only like a 45-minute drive from me, so it's not even that far.
And then you're only like 4 hours from Daytona, right?
Not even.
That's not bad.
Like 3.5. It's nothing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I could fly in Friday. We could drive down there, do our thing, come back.
Like me and if me and Jake leave, like we get there in like half the time it takes Phil to get to Daytona, and Phil's in Florida.
Oh wow!
Like it takes Phil like 6 or 8 hours, I think, to get from where he's at down south to Daytona.
That's awesome. Huh?
It's a shorter drive there than it is for us to go to Charlotte.
That's Anyways, yeah, not podcast stuff. We'll talk about it. We'll think about it. That's something that'd be kind of fun. I'd like to spend a night and visit with meet your wife and stuff. That'd be cool. Anyways, back on the Corn Snake podcast talk.
Watch breeders.
Watch breeders. Yeah, is there any breeders? You guys in particular? Anybody? Obviously me and Justin. We've really been knocking out of the park the last couple of years. We're gonna make some bangers this year. I know y'all are thinking about us. We get that. We enjoy having a fan club. But no.
It goes Justin, then you, Chris. Sorry.
That's okay. He's taller.
I mean, it really is.
That's hilarious because I end up getting like most of all the stuff Chris does.
Oh yeah, y'all are all in my group chat now. I'm sending all of y'all snakes. I just at some point I put snakes in boxes and I ship them to people because I'm not going to sell them.
I'm going to breed some nice red corn snakes that have blotches on them and look like freaking corn snakes.
Like a true-blooded American.
This is what the Lord intended when he said Pantherophis.
Gutata. Leify Gutata.
this is a corn snake, and then holds up a palmetto. This is also a corn snake. It's like, yeah, I guess it is.
It's caught in the wild.
But are there any breeders on y'all's radars that have been kind of popping up and doing some good work and standing out?
I mean, how much time do you have? I'm gonna start naming literally everybody.
Jeff,
Christian, you go first because I'm gonna be. It's gonna be everybody.
Like I'm still new to this, so like I'm discovering people that have been in the game for a long time, and it's new to me,
Yeah.
But Cloud Colubrids, I like him.
Yep, I like.
He's a cool dude. I talk to him sometimes through YG. Down to earth cat, got some nice breeders coming up, nice quality animals.
Yeah.
I mean that's what really guy I can really think about right now.
He usually goes quality in.
Yeah, he's at Daytona a lot.
He had COVID last year.
He got some of those crazy pink corns from Abbott. I think the year before last because he did a video on them.
He got a nice high white reverse from Abbott.
Yeah, I saw at his table. Like those snakes, I remember seeing. These are ridiculous.
Yeah, he got some shit.
Look, Alex is pulling up his spreadsheet.
I don't plan on adding anything this year. I want to raise up what I have. But if I go to Daytona, I'm going to Lee Abbott's table first.
Yeah.
No, actually, Justin, I was looking flights from Harrisburg to Savannah. I'm not even joking. I'm going to Daytona, seeing what the days are, and then I'm pulling up flights.
I don't remember what it is this year. It's like it always seems to change.
Same as always, is 18th through 20th.
Is it? I thought they changed it this time though. It was like the 20th through the.
Yeah, 19th to 21st. It says.
Okay. Gotcha.
But anyways, I don't know. Let's see, breeders. I got my friends over at Rock Creek. Got Adrian, who was on last CornStars. Joe and Melissa over at Black Heart in my area. There's a guy that's kind of in our area. His name is Chris McIntosh.
Oh, I've heard it. Yeah.
At Enterprise, I think he was on Phelan's podcast a long time ago, a couple years back. He works with Buff, and he's kind of who got me into like working with Buff. Like I saw his snakes, and I was like, "These are pretty. I need this gene." But he's like the Buff guy. He's been working with it for years, so
he might
I haven't heard much from him last season, so I'm hoping he's doing more. But I mean, other than that, like heavy hitters like Carol. I'm going to be looking at SMR. I'm going to be looking at, Tony D, Lee, Trumbauer, keeping an eye on Joe Peck, Chris Nicholas. Who else is there? I mean, shit. There's Burning Ember Reptiles. She was like the first breeder I ever bought from. That I had some problems just with on my end the first time I bought it, but I'm going to be looking forward to like some stuff she's producing because she always takes amazing pictures and she has some beautiful looking animals. So I can't wait to see what she produces this year. I'll probably try to pick something up just so I can like finally seal of approval, really good review with her. So I think she's pregnant right now. So exciting news for her, and I hope she has a good season. I know she's going to have a lot going on. So, I'm trying to think who else.
I tell you what, our friend Jeff Bong, he's producing some killer stuff.
Oh my gosh.
That's Jeff's the lava red stuff on red stuff that he's producing.
Yeah.
I think
not for you guys.
He's making lava, red coat, red factor.
Mike says it's for true appreciators only.
Yeah, I talked to him. I've got to get a pair of those this year. Those things are insane.
Yeah.
Some of the Cinder stuff he's got on Morph Market right now that no one seems to have any inkling to buy is like blowing my mind, man. Because he's got, I think, like 3 males and a female that are just smoking.
Yeah, and corn snaking. Like they both imported a lot of stuff from Europe. Some lines.
Yes.
I've talked to them about we've been working on lining up an episode with them, and then I think I I talked to Joe Peck recently, and he's down too. So
That'd be cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Joe Peck sent me that Motley Castani you have.
Did he really?
Yep.
Nice.
This is from Corn Snakin'.
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Red Factor Sunkissed.
That's
I
nice.
can't see the camera.
Boy, that is one
man.
combo I really love. Is just an Anery Sunkissed.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that I've
Yeah,
seen.
that's
Saxon Corns, I think they're in the UK. That stuff, dude. They have some Anery Sunkissed stuff that's just like unbelievable.
the UK is crushing it with the corn snakes, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
It's funny because sometimes when I see pictures on Facebook, like in some of the groups, and a snake gets posted, I can just kind of tell them like that's from the UK. Like I can tell that's over in Europe.
Yeah.
They have a different look.
They do.
To them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree.
Especially with the pied stuff, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
Like they got it's crazy.
So why do we think that is? Why are there so many crazy lines over in Europe we don't have? We're just now getting back into the U.S.
For the same reason they don't have the lines we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just focus.
Isolated.
It's meta. You know what I mean? Those guys are trading hands so much that even the maybe the poultry animals that are on the table at a show, the stuff that gets wholesaled, still is carrying some of that lineage. We've got some of the most refined Okati stuff. It's shocking. I mean, look at the snake that Christian just held up, right? Like, there's not even red in there's not even saddles anymore. We just have border. It's almost all fully concentrated into just borders. They don't have that over there. I don't know if that's what they're looking for. I don't know if that's what they want. But they're kind of refining what they have. They had a few guys, right, and women, a few people that refine these lines. You see the same thing in Chondros. Definitely see the same thing in Leonis. One of the problems over there with Mexicana stuff is they started hybridizing so much of the Mexicana stuff because the way they were looking at it, it was all the same species. That now, whenever you get into Euro Mexicana stuff, whether it be Alterna, we had that amazing albino Alterna that was produced in a clutch that produced like 4 or 5 of them. And they were like, oh, well, look, here's the world's first albino Alterna. I'm like, yeah, the same clutch you produced an albino, a leucistic, a hypo albino, so it's so hard to get animals over there and so hard to get animals from there to here. That I'm just guessing it's the refining of what they're working with, and man, there's some cool stuff going on over there.
Well, what's y'all's thoughts on the whole Black Diamond thing?
I would like a name change, or at least for us to call it something slightly different, because Diamond already being a morph is going to
Diamond
be
already exists.
a little confusing. Yeah. And I don't really want to say BD, Het BD, or I really don't want to put that.
I think that was a derivative of the melanistic leopard geckos, the Black Knights, and the success of that name. So I don't know.
I want to see more pictures of them, because the one that was kind of floating around.
We need to see it more.
Weird.
I'm excited for it if it's I can't wait for 20 years from now when I can get my hands on it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Put Red Factor in it.
Put Red Factor. Well, let's add in all the yellow genes on top of it. See what happens.
Right. I don't know
yellow red with those solid black blotches. Be awesome.
I think it's badass. I think they look awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Alex. I wish the name was different. I don't get the right to name anything.
Nope. But damn, does it look fucking cool.
It's cool looking, man. I'm on board.
What about you? Justin, what do you think?
I don't know. Like I said, I want to see more pictures of it, because the one that was floating around, I don't know, the head shape looked odd. It just like the overall sort of just body tone to it just looked like not 100% corn to me. Not saying that it is not 100% corn. I don't know. I just want to see more of it.
What about the black rat?
Nah,
I don't know.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It would, because that you could that could work, right? We could cross a black rat in there and we can make that happen. but it's the melanin. I don't think it's going to work that way.
I guess I just worry about it sort of falling prey to sort of the like origin confusion, like we've seen with some of the other stuff that's come from that side. You know, like the whole Tessera thing. Like, did it come from Kings? Did it not? I feel like until someone gives us straightforward answers that are like 100% truthful, that can't be disputed. It's like, I don't know.
You've seen the pictures of just Black Diamond. Have you seen the hypo picture?
No.
That makes it unquestionable that it's a melanistic morph.
Right.
The
hypo is like chocolate brown.
Yeah.
The parents, weren't they like Miami phase looking type of snakes?
They were crimsons, I believe, or het crimsons. I think they were. They were I think they were either visual crimson. No, they wouldn't have been both visual. Was it a visual to a het? They were going to make hypos, is what it was.
That's right. Yeah. So here, neat little factor on hypermelanism in other species, because every time a new morph kind of pops out in corns, you could probably find something similar in other species along the colubrid line or along that. Hypermelanism exists in California king snakes. There's 3 or 4 different lines of it. In fact, there's one hypermelanism line. Hypermelanin line that is locality specific. So you have your Umensis, you have your Grease Kings, but there is also recessive hypermelanin, and it acts a lot like if we look at blue-tongued skinks, which have hypermelanism. You know, you have the solid black blue-tongued skinks. The thing they found out when they started adding other genes to those is it's not actually a hypermelanistic animal. It's not a solid black animal. It's a saturation of color. So when they started adding in yellow modifiers and red modifiers, they explode with color.
Oh, shit.
So what I'm hoping is that's what's happening with the corn snakes, because, again, look at Leonis. Leonis only have one recessive trait. It's been proved out time and time again, and it's a solid black snake. So it is a true melanistic king snake that is produced through recessive genetics. And variable, and it shows no correlation as a het. There's no het markers or anything, but go to a lot of other versions of hypermelanism in animals. You get het markers, you get visual hets, you get hets that say this animal is probably a het hypermel. And then, like I said, take a California king snake that's hypermel and start adding in albino, lavender albino. There's a couple of different strains of albino in California king snake. It works interestingly like that. There's multiple lines that don't work together, and you start getting your platinums and your and I don't remember the names of all of them, but go look up a platinum California king snake. They're amazing looking. So I'm hoping that's what's going on with the corn snakes, is that this is a hypermel gene, that instead of it being an actual just that's what it looks like when you combine these genes. I hope what's happening is it's exploding the chromatophores, and we're getting a massive amount of additional pigment, and that's why it looks black when you see it. But it kind of looks like that might be the case with the hypo animal. So, I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, looks nice for sure.
I was really surprised how interested you guys were in that wild-caught female that I acquired recently that has all the melanin in it.
Oh, yeah. It's cool.
Which looked probably gorgeous as a baby to 1 to 2 year old, but we see a lot of those here that you just kind of like, it's a, but it is kind of pretty.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the blotches on the sides and everything are really nice, bright yellow and orange. So hopefully get some babies from her this year.
I want to see the that Cleveland, North Carolina stuff. I feel like that has that silver base tied into Miami would be kind of interesting, whether that does anything different or if it just keeps that phenotype sort of rolling.
That silver base is found in a lot of localities here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Richmond County is another kind of famous one. That's just east of Charlotte in the Sandhills. But those Cleveland County corns have the best feed response of any corn I've ever kept. I don't know if that's because when they find food, they got to eat it out there.
Yeah.
That could be it. And they're so small, which is so weird. Mine are tiny, and mine are many years old. They may breed this year.
That's right in the foothills, right before the Appalachian Mountains start. So it's not a long growing season out there.
Look at that silver though, right? That's perfect.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, these guys, and I like the way the saddles are odd on these. These are produced by Chris Gonzalez, and I've thoroughly enjoyed these animals since I got them from him. He said that they're actually a little tough to get started. He said these are a little tougher to get going on eating compared to some other. But look at that silver, right? That almost looks like some of the Miami animals we're talking about, but instead of having red, it's got more of that kind of soft orange. But yeah, no,
and you're not going to find a silverback corn outside of Miami. That's kind of
right. And that's why I think it'd be interesting, like the South Mountain stuff, and Cleveland, which I guess are those how close are those to one another?
It's the same thing. Cleveland County, North Carolina, is the South Mountain Reds.
Gotcha.
Same animal. So yeah, these guys, if they go this year, I'm excited. Next year, this I think is actually the female. I've cohabbed these since they were born. Since I got them from Montrose, I've actually had these animals together, and they've done perfect, absolutely perfect. Mike, one thing you said about obviously there's been some debates on cohabbing corn snakes and stuff. A corn snake with a good feeding response is usually the best corn snake to cohab because it's easy to feed it on tongs. It's easy to separate it when you feed it and let them do their thing. So I did not brewmate these guys this year, but next year I plan on brewmating them. And if they do breed this year, I'm okay with it. They're big enough, but I will brewmate them next year and probably pair that boy into something else just to kind of start getting that silver color.
And how old is that?
That's what I was kind of saying. You can kind of get that locality, some other localities, and really line breed for a really nice silver red saddled animal.
The boy who's probably a little bit prettier than this girl paired to that reverse Okatee, that fluorescent reverse Okatee. What do you get then? Right? Yeah. You're gonna have some real interesting looking babies. Now, Justin, this is a 3-year-old animal this year, and this is gonna be on the same feeding schedule as everything else in my collection. So they're small. They are very small comparative to a lot of things.
That's what I'm so curious about is just like tying the locality stuff into the morph stuff and just
it's cool.
You never know what genes will pop up.
I want to see it all, and I'm I'm stupid excited because I'm planning that come 2024, I'll be able to pair one of the F1 Ladies Islands back to Mom.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
And that I'm extremely excited. I can't freaking wait.
What are we?
That's really nice too. I like that a lot too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's very clean.
It's a random wild type I got at a pet shop.
Seeing some of that stuff is what I love the most too. Like I don't have a clue what it is, but it's different. Like clearly there's something going on.
So he's about 3 years old too, and he's pretty small.
That looks kind of like textbook Miami Okatee stuff, but that's a gorgeous animal.
You never know what you see in pet stores.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a damn good looking snake, man.
Thanks, man.
That's I mean, if that's a female, she's probably big enough to breed or close enough.
That's a male. I got him. I got his shed tested a while back.
I need to do that with that one Buford corn, man.
Yeah, I had to do that for him and my Sunkist, my first corn snake. I have no idea of the sex.
See, I don't know. Like, there's the shed thing where they have the two sort of blood spots that you see with females, but then I probe and it's male, and I'm like, I really hope that I didn't fuck up.
I think you would have known if you fucked up.
I think
there'd be some bleeding and stuff like that.
You look at the tail, and I'm like, it seems short. It tapers quick. So I'm like, it like all things seem to point to it being a female. But I had it with the older Ladies Island male, last year and got nothing out of them. And I don't know if it was just because maybe she needed another year.
Yeah.
It is in fact a male. Like, I don't know. So I'm going to put that het Sunkiss male in there and see if anything happens. Because that Ladies on the Male did start doing the twitch.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like that's a very reliable indicator because I've seen them do that when I touch them with a hook. You know,
I'm all this girl was doing it in my hands.
Yeah.
So I think man,
she's built it's built like a female. Like, it's got that kind of stockier sort of build to it. And
I'd bet female, dude. I got two females that didn't go last year with awesome breeders. You know what I mean? With their males, you know, I had enough clutches to want to just hand snakes out for free. Some females just don't go, right? Like, they're going to miss years. It's going to happen every time. So yeah, I bet it's female, man.
We'll see.
And you've only tried her once, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and last year had she gone, it would have been her first year. So
okay.
She's definitely old enough. I mean, I got her in 2018. She was tiny, like fresh out of the egg, tiny. And that's why I love finding small local corns like that, is because like they look pretty standard, but then like you watch them shed and stuff, and every time it's like, oh my god, it's getting better and better and better.
Oh yeah.
And man, corn snakes really do get better and better and better.
They do
every time.
I feel like that's such an overlooked aspect to them, man.
Yeah, it's like
with Pantherophis in general, because even with bears, it's the same way.
Yeah,
the bears are crazy.
Your Everglade and yellow rats.
Yeah.
Just watching the corns and rats color up. It's so much fun.
Like baby yellow rats, at least the ones that I see here, like they look so stock. Like it's just a rat snake.
Yeah.
And then just watching that pattern just disappear, and then sometimes it doesn't. A lot of the ones here still have sort of a faint ghosting of those saddles and stuff, even as they get older. Like they still have some pattern to them. It's very subtle, but it's still there.
It's nothing like our Lord and Savior Pitiophis jani. You know what I mean?
Right.
True ontogenic change.
That yes. Those are incredible. Too bad you didn't get to see that one become an adult, Justin.
Jake has it. I can go visit it whenever I want.
Also, I send him enough pictures of jani. I mean, I think he knows. I'm constantly posting them things. I love them things. What do you got there, Christian? What are we looking at?
This is JT honey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Silent Hill honey.
I should have a clutch of those this year. Well, it would be caramel, het, cinder, diffused, sun-kissed to a honey, posset, diffused cinder. So hopefully, I'd love to make a shatter this year, but I'm excited to just make some of those.
See, that's the problem, Chris, is you do all this stuff, and then you're like, I'm going to send you 12 of these. Do you have the room? And I'm going to be like, no, I don't. But then I'm going to see what you are planning to send and be like, send it.
Yeah, well, now I'm going to send them to Alex and Christian.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm gonna keep like 10 holdbacks. I'm gonna keep 10 snakes to sell at shows, and then I'm just gonna send the rest to everybody else.
Okay.
I'm looking at empty racks right now, my man. So,
Alex, you don't get in trouble. I found this to be the case. If you're married, you don't get in trouble when you don't spend anything on them.
Yeah,
this is true.
When
Because
when I sending me a box.
When I tell people the size of my collection, I'm like 8 of them were gifted.
Yeah, it's and also you get some wild caught stuff, and it's like God gifted this to me.
Oh
you know what I mean? I was just, oh man, I was gonna.
He wanted me to find it.
That's snakes and shit.
Destiny.
Trash. Silly animals. But yeah, okay. So, kind of like we can hit one more topic before we head out for the night. What do you guys? What we ask every guest we have on. We talk about trends. Everybody, Justin talks about Castagna. I don't know if I've really talked too much about what I think the trends are moving forward. But you guys are a little bit. I think us 5 are pretty well saturated in this, not necessarily the social media aspect, but we're paying attention to it. But if we start with you, Christian. What do you think are trends that we're going to see in the next year, up to 5 years, with corn snakes?
Honestly, I mean, the palmetto, I think, is kind of like gonna be around for a while. And they try to see what they can do with that. Like I'm not a palmetto guy myself, but I've seen a few that it was like I wonder what else they could do with that, you know, or
cool animal.
if they can do anything else with it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. Yeah, clean it up. Try to get some more color in there.
Keep outcrossing it. I think that's the answer on palmettos. Keep outcrossing it.
Yeah.
You have snakes that are genetically weaker, and you're immediately pairing palmetto into them. So let's say we have one of my 5 gene demons, right? And I immediately paired palmetto into it. Now I've got a 6 gene demon that also has 1 gene that is notoriously deleterious. You're probably not going to get the best results, right? There's going to be things that are going to happen in that lineage as you start breeding them that are not going to be good. But I'm with you. I think there's a lot you can still do with it. We just got to be patient with it.
That's how I felt initially with the pies. Like I wasn't sold on the pie side of it, but then I started seeing some pie side. I was like, "Fuck, I need that, man."
Badass. I wish pied-sided was a little bit easier to work with because it takes 2 good-looking pieds to produce like 15% good-looking pieds. It's kind of similar, man. I always compare it to other genetics, but in the leopard gecko world with black knights, you could take 2 perfectly black knight leopard geckos, and you're going to get like 20% perfect black knights. You're going to get a lot of animals that show increased melanin, a lot of animals that show that line breeding exists in their lineage, but animals that are just perfect, it's hard to find. Oh man, yeah. So that's a extremely good example.
Yeah, I just got this from Snakes at Sunset, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
They've been posting some nice stuff. They have just a regular normal on Morph Market right now that is really interesting looking.
Can't get it good on camera, but it has a nice expression on the side.
That's really cool. Almost looks like a paradox thing going on within because it's pied. So for all the people listening and not watching, it's pied so heavily that the areas that are not pied almost look like paradox, which is pretty neat. Well, Mike, what about you? Is there anything in the next year to 5 years you think seeing rising in popularity or trending in core snakes?
Well, I was going to talk about the pied blood reds too, because some of those you got coming out are just incredible. Yeah. So to me, so much better than a palmetto.
Yeah.
So I think we all kind of feel the same on the palmettos. It's nice white snake with little colored dots on it, but the pieds are just incredible. The high expression ones.
Yeah. Especially as adults, man. Nice blood red pied is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then eventually you've got to breed it and line breed it and refine it where it doesn't take as many, hatchlings as Chris just said.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But those are incredible. And I'd say more locality stuff, as everything's getting developed and bulldozed over, let's save some of these localities of pretty corns and, see what's residing in those gene pools.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here, I got good news for y'all. My snow yellow thing just shed. Let's see if we can see any of this yellow in her. I don't know if she looks yellow.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeller.
It's yellow, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Like I look at it and I'm like, it's a very yellow animal. I mean, she even goes further back.
So what are your thoughts about putting that higher yellow stuff like that with something like Halo stuff from Sarah?
Absolutely. And what I almost wonder, is this even related to Halo? Is this the same thing? It definitely seems to have more yellow than it, because definitely not sun-kissed, right? Like we can look at the patterning. I know it's not sun-kissed. It is very yellow, right? I don't know. And y'all are seeing it on camera. I look, and all the belly checkers, everything on the bottom is yellow. It's really neat. I think it's cool. But yeah, and I can change the spectrum. I can turn the light down. If I turn the light down, does it look less yellow?
No. More yellow.
But yeah, it's like anyways, that's that kind of thing that I want to find out if it's selective breeding. That's what and I'm not going to skip over you, Alex. I'm kind of just going in order, But the thing that I think is going to become more popular over the next couple of years, maybe this year, maybe in the future, is going to be selectively bred situations. We've already seen it with stuff that obviously, we no disrespect to the four founders of this, your Howie Shermans, your Walter Smiths, your Tony D's, but now you got people like JT that you have this your Hannibal animals, and you're starting to get lineage involved. And I think the lineage animals, the locality animals, the refined selective traits, that's what we're going to see as popular over the next, I think, year or future years. But also Pied kind of fits in that, right? Like Pied is kind of a selectively bred trait that fits within a morph. Tequila Sunrise kind of does the same thing, right? Your Tequila Sunrise animals, and excuse me for not knowing who originally produced those, but
VMS.
Okay, then yeah, those were originally kind of found in Anriel.
He found it in a pet shop, supposedly.
Yeah.
We did have someone on Instagram, one of our Dutch brethren, ask us to do an episode on mimosa.
Oh yes,
which would be interesting.
Mimosa's pretty awesome. I don't know if we could do a whole episode on mimosa because only one person has
We
done.
have to drink mimosas while we do it. I hope you know that.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Only one person has really done
I'll
anything
give up my
with
man
the
cave for
mimosas.
a bunch of mimosas.
we have to do it on Sunday when I can cook everybody
That's
brunch.
Hey,
I love brunch. The gentleman that found the mimosa genetics. So mimosa is a most likely going to be in the same line as Tequila Sunrise, whereas it doesn't work the same as all recessive or co-dominant traits. I believe the gentleman that found it. He's got a beautiful last name. He's Dutch, and future morphs. He does not. He does speak English, and he's done some videos on it. And he has a website that talks about it. He found it by pairing a Hypotessera. I don't remember what he paired it to, but then he started pairing stuff back, and he started getting these animals that had saturation in the colors. But the biggest call out was it does odd things to patterns as well. So I don't know if it ended up being a selectively bred thing or a if it ever got proved out of recessive. So we definitely do that. We'll have Sarah Moore on again and talk about odd genes, odd genetics, things that are.
There's going to be some things pop up in collections that are going to be totally unique, and kind of like that Tequila Sunrise, like the one that you got there that we're going to want to expand on.
Yeah, and those things have to fall into the right hands, and
yes.
who ends up with them, and I'm going to put her with this boy right now. You know what I mean? We might witness this live. She just shed. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can.
I'll put a quarter in.
You can see the yellow on both of them, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's neat looking. I wish I could take pictures of animals, but I'm dumb. So I don't take good pictures. But I wish I could take good pictures so I could really show it off a little better. Because it really is a neat thing. But yeah, no. So Alex, anything you see kind of as we move forward? What do you think of our trends are? What do you think? What do you think the future is?
Well, I think there's going to be, like you guys are saying, there's going to be these like flagship animals that people are going to be kind of trying to get offspring from. I think we're going to see a lot of people pairing snakes together that are going to be just like, hey, I produced this thing. Clearly I can see some visuals, but there's something else possibly going on. Don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm keeping some and selling some of the others. And then we're going to start getting these genes that could start popping up within probably the next 5 to 10 years. As far as like current genes that I think might start kind of expanding and becoming more popular, I think obviously honeys have been pretty big ever since I got into this. pretty much ever since I started like learning about corn snakes, it's been Sunkiss. I'd really love to see some genes that aren't getting a lot of love start getting love. Like I'd really love to see Terrazzo start getting some love.
I want to see some Terrazzo, yeah.
I would like to see Peach. Like Peach gets thrown around a lot, attached to Lavender. I'd really love Peach just to kind of get figured out, because like every time I ask people about Peach, they're like, I can't really tell unless it's double visual. So
Peach and strawberry do that, right? Like peach and strawberry are these things that they're like, oh yeah, that's strawberry. And I'm like, but is it strawberry or is it
red factor?
Is it red factor? And you're saying it's strawberry?
Red coat?
I don't know. And yeah, is it red coat? It's strawberry and peach. You're right. Peach is one of those ones that like. In the world of dinker morphs, right? Like it's one of those ones that we saw it in lavender. We probably see it in lavender because the way that lavender actually works in the chromatophores and the scales, right? Like we learned when we saw a scaleless lavender is that it does odd things, which still blows my mind. A scaleless lavender is a normal scaleless corn snake. And so we put scales back on, we got the lavenders, and then we put in peach, and it does this odd thing that makes this shockingly gorgeous animal. But then you get peach albinos or peach anaries and peach and other genes, and it doesn't do anything to the point to where you have to put animals next to each other, and you may get that actual genetic variation in some morphs just anyways. You know what I mean? So
maybe one of the big things that needs to come up in the next 5 or 10 years is actual genetic testing, because we're looking at these snakes and just kind of guessing, like, kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like that. It could be that.
I mean, we're on our way with that, because I think they're doing that. They're starting to do that with ball pythons now.
Yeah, with the base morphs.
Yeah.
Well, and when you have so much variation and a lot of it can look the same, when you have like how many hypomelanistic types do we have? Like, is it like 6 of them?
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, what could this be? Yeah. Certain ones have het markers, other ones don't. Some of them throw het markers at random times.
Even knowing if some stuff is actually the same, we just haven't been calling it the same thing. There's the whole mahogany versus castagna thing.
Yeah,
they look very similar, but maybe they are the same, basically the same thing happening. It just, because it was 2 separate sort of lines, it's looks different in its own way.
Yeah,
and if I think I'm correct with strawberry and hypo were kind of the same thing. People kept throwing strawberries and hypos together and making hypo berries for like years on years, and just nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
So, and now there's just lines of, well, it's kind of pinkish. That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. So, where are the ultras? Who's working with ultra? That's like
just straight ultra.
Just straight ultra. Where is my ultra castagna? Right.
Apricot.
No, that's Ultramel castagna.
Someone had one on Morph Market that looked really good.
There is an actual. Oh, here. If anybody wants to know, that is how you breed corn snakes. You put them together in a box, and you will have. Oh, wait, can y'all see it? I don't know.
No.
Oh my God, I don't know how cameras work. Y'all just hold them up because they're fine. Look.
Oh my God, breeding. Chris, do not post that to Facebook. Whatever you do.
There you go. I got some good twitching. Yeah.
No, they're locked. They're fully locked up.
Nice.
They're locked up. There you go. Look at corn snakes. Corn snakes X. And that's
children, look away.
I know this may be very difficult. I know when you're.
It's a very sexual podcast.
When you're the cream of the crop, and you make things look this easy, right? You know what I mean?
It's lonely up there.
I've got the waiting list started right now. Anybody that wants to hit me up right now, I've got a few.
What's the best email for that?
Obviously, cornsnakedaddy_6969 @yahoo.com. Go ahead, hit me up, get on the waiting list. I'll let anybody know. I got these high yellow Johnnies, right? They're going. I will trade for, You know what I mean? Y'all got some other, some of y'all ladies out there trying to get some good times in. Maybe ain't got that much cash, hit me up. You know what I mean? Some of y'all good looking men's. You know what I mean? Y'all got that like that sharp looking legs. Y'all been doing squats. Hit me up. You know what I mean? We got some things to do.
Thank you, Snake Daddy.
Thank you, Snake Daddy. Anyways, yeah. So corn snake breeding 101. Put them in the same box.
Okay.
Make them open the box.
First,
Put your snake in the box.
Cut a hole in the box.
No, don't cut a hole in it. They'll escape. They're so good at that.
They're so good at escaping. Justin, what are we on right now? Baker's dozen for the month?
No, bitch, none.
We're on zero casualties for the month of March.
I haven't had an escapee in months. Thank you very much.
That's awesome, man. We all have to.
Man, you just totally jinxed yourself.
Yeah, I didn't.
Dude, you fucked up. But no. Anyways, back on what we were talking about, kind of like morphs that have gone to the wayside and stuff that nobody's really done work with. What's a peach terrazzo look like? You know what I mean? There's things out there. Who cares if it's a world's first? Who cares if you make the most amazing animal? What does a lava peach look like? You know what I mean? You've got lava, which is kind of coming back into popularity, which I like seeing because lava really does make a good looking animal. Lava to me shares a lot of resemblance with a true ultra, right? An ultra. Somebody's got a noise that's coming through.
I think it's you.
It's not me.
I'm kidding.
Oh, lava has a thing that it does that kind of looks like a true ultra, which is kind of neat. But then again, what is anybody doing with true ultras? When are you taking your ultras and actually trying to put those into other morphs to see what they end up looking like?
Yeah, lava plays really good with other genes.
It's pronounced lava.
My favorite lava combination that I've seen on Ian's is Lava Mel Terrazzo. Lava, amelanistic, and terrazzo together, and the snake that is posted on there just blows me away.
Yeah,
I kick myself for not buying one of the terrazzos that VMS had for sale last year about this time when he was going out of business, because I've got the F2 Keys corns that I'm raising up.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really interesting to plug in.
Yeah, absolutely, and something like that's a great idea. You know what I mean? There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is there's more to life than scalers and palmetto, people.
But I think there's a lot of work to still be done with scalers to some extent.
But
you don't take away more scales.
But Justin, Justin, you forget I like money.
I could give a shit about money.
Only corns. No, I don't have. I have het palmetto in my collection right now, and hopefully I don't have any scaleless. I hope nobody snuck it in on me.
I'm not completely opposed to having some scaleless or palmetto in the future. I kind of told myself no. I said no. I'm not going to have any scaleless. And then now that I think about it, as I get the second room built, I may want to have an example that just to experience it, right? Not necessarily something that I'm going to generate projects out of.
I mean, if I somehow randomly hatched one by accident, not knowing I had hets or something, like I wouldn't burn it at the cross or anything like that. But...
you yank it out of the egg and just smack it on the ground.
What are you doing?
Straight to the king snake.
Yes, king snake food.
Fuck you,
Does anybody want this world's first before I feed it to king snakes? No? Anybody? No?
Yeah.
All right.
Totally new line of palmetto.
Yeah.
Well, the het palmetto that I have in my collection, I'm very excited for because I have a trio of. It was palmetto to caramel orchid.
Huh.
So yeah, put that in your pipe and put that Punnett square together.
That's weird. So orchid, and I try to do this every time we talk about a
lavender sun-kissed.
Lavender sun-kissed. I try to do this for some of the listeners because we've had people, mention back at us, be like, yeah, but what's an ice? You know what I mean? Because it's not like just to mention base morphs.
Het palmetto, het lavender, het sun-kissed, het caramel, and then the palmetto that it was paired with is het amyl annery charcoal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now there's just all those hets possibly running around, and when I pair the trio together, you know, I'm gonna get beautiful Sunkiss. I'm gonna get beautiful honeys, some orchids, some caramel orchids, palmetto versions of all of that. So caramel palmettos, please. I need them. You trio, you bastards, please. That's what I'm going for. I want caramel palmettos. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want golden scales on a white snake.
Yeah. That'd be I don't know if one's been produced yet, but I bet that's pretty damn good.
Oh, I've seen pictures of really nice ones.
I saw a picture of one, and that's probably one of the 3 palmettos that I was like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's badass.
It'd be very cool if like a white-sided gene popped up in corns, like the white-sided black rats.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
It'd be really cool if I took these genetic reverse stripe embryi and paired them into or Neil and Morum and paired them into corn snakes, right, guys?
Crickets.
No, but no, yeah. I think at some point we're going to start seeing white
Burn in hell, Chris.
Stuff like that. Yeah, we already here, baby. You know what I mean?
We're snake breeders. We're snake breeders. We're already there.
We're snake breeders. My mother once told me, guys, I just want y'all to listen real close about snake breeding and the devil. We got to get into it. Just kidding. But no, Justin, is there anything spicy you're seeing coming up? You know, I
Besides Castani,
Castani and the likes, but is there just? I think you're probably going to agree with me. It's going to end up being something in the selective breeding range.
Yep. I don't really have anything else to add to that.
Yeah.
The Kasani thing is really interesting because I became interested in Kasani about 5 or 6 years ago, seeing some pictures from JMG on the website. And it's so cool to see Justin now so interested in these because there was no interest in them for years and years, and you never saw them.
I think it's because we're at a point now where there's so many incomplete dominant stuff where people get sort of the instant results. To where now, like simple recessive stuff, unless it's something that's mandatory for a certain combination, people don't want to. And not everyone, but I don't like to generalize, but when you can get really cool stuff out of a first generation, you know, I can understand why people wouldn't want to have to wait around, 3 years to be able to raise stuff up and breed it and make more of it. And like, I get that, but Mandarin especially, like I have all those Castanias I got from Eric are het amel. I don't remember who, but they've been posting some Mandarin stuff in one of the corn groups. It gets me super excited to do more of that.
Yeah. That Mandarin, the person I got that Mandarin from that you have, might be making Mandarin terrazos this year. Nice. And that is, I have already explained to them that I want all of them. Just so I can send them to Justin. But, yeah, so dude, that Mandarin you got that I sent you is bad.
Dude, every shed, man, that thing is just getting better and better and better and better.
And it's Aztec. It's got the the what is sometimes considered a line bred trait, but the odd patterning on the scutes and saddles is insane looking.
Which going back to yeah, it is. Going back to the sort of the breeder to watch. I don't know who it is, but they're as Mike's Motley's on Facebook. I've been following his stuff the last couple of weeks, and he's been putting out some just incredible animals, really top notch stuff. So to hit him up, see if he'll come on the show at some point.
Yeah, we're definitely reaching and trying to get more guests, and me, I'm trying to work with my schedule to get more time to do this. But I think crew shows like this are going to be kind of fun.
I this is nice. I like this.
Cool, man.
Free for all.
A little bit more relaxing.
Essentially, CornStars and Stogies. This is what this
is. This
is
CornStars and Stogies, just not live. Yeah.
I mean, Chris has just set the standard by literally having snakes breed during the show. So I don't know how we can. It's going to take some work from the rest of us.
I wanted to show these snakes to y'all, but the female was a shed. She literally shed during the podcast. I paired them up. This is corn snake breeding, guys. 101.
You're welcome.
You just got, I wake up in the morning, I stay on the grind. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't moving like me.
Now we're all going to be like, Justin, we got to do a show now. Right now, Justin, we got to do a show now.
Chris stays 10 toes down.
Yo, Pennywise out here trying to say he the baddest motherfucker. Dude, you live in the gutter. Dude, my house $4,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Chris, you're gonna have the internet coming after you, being like, I paired up mine and I got no locks. It took you 3 seconds.
Yeah,
Guess what? They're
still locked
small,
up.
and I put them in a box together. I cohabit for 20 minutes.
I'm gonna leave them in this box overnight if they're still doing this because I don't want to bug them. Right?
Yeah.
So hit me up.
He'll probably have eggs in the morning.
I might even have eggs. Oh man! All I've got to do is say that they were snuggling, and then somebody's gonna like derogatorily freak out.
Oh, Danielle from Facebook is just going to crucify you.
Danielle
my
from
God.
Facebook is gonna lose her shit. I noticed that you're not using a sustainable organic substrate in their breeding chamber.
Can't burrow.
Do better.
When all the Karens come out of the substrate. Oh my god.
Oh,
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good year, I think. It's gonna be a good year for corns. It's gonna be a lot of people doing some exciting pairings.
yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see what gets produced out. It'll be interesting to see where the Black Diamond morph heads.
Absolutely.
I love how
Are
you
Are those
have
in
to
the
wipe
US
top-
or they're
you have to
just
top-
in Europe, right?
wipe the top of your beer because you're allergic to whatever algae might be growing on top of it.
Hey, but it came out of my Stone Cold Steve Austin ice chest.
Nice.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh,
I almost met him once.
Almost.
He was at the hotel I worked at, and it was my day off, and I went to go visit, or maybe I wasn't working there at the time. I went to go back to my old job to visit, and I was like, "Why is there a crowd in the corner?" And they're like, "Stone Cold Steve Austin is here," and I stopped myself from going over to him because it was 9:30 at night, and I checked his Facebook and his Twitter, and he was tweeting from the top of the hotel at 6 or 7 a.m. being like, "I'm on my third cup of coffee and I'm still not ready yet." And I was like, "Ooh, I'm glad I didn't bother him." So I would have been the last asshole before he got to the elevator, and I did not want it.
That
Stone
man's an
Cold Steve
institution in the state of Texas.
Austin.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
he like lived and
He should
grew
be the
up and
governor.
is not far from me. I mean, yeah. At least he can. No, man, I was about to make a joke, and I'm not gonna say it on the airwaves, but it was bad. Anyways,
My
Texas
wife is
politics.
urging me
Is
to
it
go
that
to bed.
time?
It is that time.
Oh, get her on. Get her on. Let's talk to her.
We say that for Monday. We say that for when it's live.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
this was
it.
one.
We'll be better.
It'll be
we'll
trash
do
talk.
it.
You can edit it out Monday.
Right.
I mean, we're already at a two and a half hour podcast right now.
It's a
She's
good
like, "How do you
podcast.
guys talk about stuff for 2.5 hours?" I'm like, "I don't know." It's like,
Chris likes to bullshit. I don't
get
know.
a hobby. Like, I don't know what to
I'm the tangent king of South Texas, dude. I'll derail us right now.
You already did. Snakes are already breeding.
Yeah, I literally have snakes breeding just sitting next to me. Oh man, like I see a whole ass hemipene right now. What?
Just hanging out, just dangling.
Just there.
All right, guys. CornStars is ending. Our mini painting podcast is about to start right now.
Oh my gosh, I literally have like right here. Like we could just be looking at this Invictor Tactical Warsuit. And then look, here's another Invictor Tactical Warsuit. And then I have another Invictor Tactical Warsuit. I'm painting these right now. Oh my gosh, that way I can have 3. That's the limit you can have in Warhammer. Here's the riders, right? The little drivers. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about mini painting. You're at my desk. All right, guys. This was episode 4792. It's brought to you by BlackBox Cages.
Yeah, and Silent Hill Reptiles.
Silent
Check
Hill
both of them
Reptiles.
out. Facebook, Instagram, SilentHillReptiles.com, BlackBoxCages.com. Alex, where can people follow you?
Keystone Corns on Instagram.
Mike, where can people follow you?
MK_Colubrids at Instagram.
Christian, where can people follow you?
Black Snow Reptiles, Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm going to go make the dinner I was about to make at 7:30 tonight.
Dinner's gonna be cold tonight, asshole.
All right.
Is it wings? Wait a second. Is it wings?
Not tonight. No.
Oh,
It was wings last night.
like that stopped you before. Mike is the wingman, dude.
It might be chicken tenders tonight.
Oh boy.
Those are even better. Easier to eat.
Yeah.
Because I'm 5.
You piece
All
of
right, man.
shit.
Great hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
hey,
you,
man,
Chad.
thanks for coming on.
Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back for Snakes and Stogies on Monday at 9:00 Eastern Standard. EDT or EST. Apparently, it's a certain time of year it's EDT. Certain times of the year it's EST. I didn't know that until recently. So now I don't know which one to use.
Yeah,
But
we
whatever.
spring forward very soon.
That's right. I think Sunday.
The 13th, yeah.
Yep.
And we will see everybody there Monday night. And thank you.
Take care.
Good night, fellas.
See ya.